पीछे 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 बेटू लॉन्ग से चल के टीपी मारते हैं। तोड़ इसको। इसका तेरा स्टॉर्म ग्रेनेड हवा में था बे। So hello guys and welcome to my stream। आज स्टार्ट करेंगे वैलोरेंट से गाइस और कल
revealing area।
तो रुक मैं ड्रोन कर रहा पीछे भाई।
Deploying drone।
इसको बचने के प्रोटेक्ट करेगा इसको।
Go go go।
90
Spike down A।
मोबाइल कैसे मारा? मोबाइल कैसे मारा?
Trust my bots।
वो तो मुझे भी दिखाई दे कि मार दिया लेकिन कैसे?
Honestly, she won't miss that finger।
Gotta go। এটা কাজ কর শুন আমার কথা কর আমি আল্ট মারমু ঠিক আছে ও আর তো লিখতে লাগবে
अबे क्रैकन आई जेल अपना।
You want to play? Let's play।
enemy spotted A one down
बाकी चारों के पास तो बस वाल दिया प्लान दिया इतना कुछ।
Pulling them in। Concealment।
Scanning ahead।
Initiated।
There they are।
Gotta go।
ये वाला कवर चाहिए।
Shot down।
प्लान कर रहा मैं।
Flag planted।
turrets destroyed
तू बैक स्टेप देख रहा है क्या?
One enemy remaining।
Shock dart।
रिवील कर रहा है।
Revealing area। Found them।
नाइस वन नाइस वन नाइस वन नाइस वन। लेट्स गो बेबी ऑल गुड।
If you're not a good shot today, don't worry। There are other ways to be
quadra
useful।
baby quadra guardian से quadra
I need a drop।
I'm out of here।
लो
river guardian देना बोलो
हाँ प्राइम लगे ना
yes
I have the spike।
क्राउच पूरी ऐसे प्रोबाल तो ऐसा अल्ट
Revealing area।
डिबोरुक डिबोरुक
क्या प्रो
अबे लॉन्ग पे होगा लॉन्ग पे है ना एक।
अरे
प्रोबाल किधर मारा? लॉन्ग से मारा ना प्रोबाल? लॉन्ग से मारा क्या?
हाँ
Spike planted।
तो लॉन्ग का टाइम में वो पूरा वो
Fire in the hole।
और
Last player standing।
40 चल ऐसे होगा नहीं, ऐसे मुश्किल है।
इसका चैम्बर बहुत ज़्यादा ऑफ कर रहा है, बहुत ज़्यादा ऑफ कर रहा है। ले रहे नहीं ऐसे।
Team Ace। I Chale, because it means you're my friend. But maybe I should call you Kwasia because you
ऑफ
follow.
रिक्वेस्ट करना क्रिकेट
डिब्बो फैंटम दे
Need a
Need a
drop.
drop.
Thanks.
With that. Thanks.
कुछ स्ट्रेट बना बैठ लेकिन कुछ स्ट्रेट बना
Go, go, go.
एकदम जा रहा है
ओए अक्षरा तेरे पास सारी है
मैं इधर पे चैम्बर का ऑफ नहीं होगा, ठीक है, मैं उसका वो रिवील कर रहा है चैम्बर का पोजीशन।
टीवी को मना रहा
मैं पोजीशन रिवील कर रहा, ठीक है, चैम्बर का।
Scanning ahead.
लैंप्स में बैठा रहता है। ड्रोन कर
अबे
Take flight.
Go, go,
हाँ
go.
पीछे हील कौन देगा तुमको
Time to jump. Decoy.
बैकस्टेप आ गया शायद।
बाजे लागू दे
Flag planted.
क्या पीछे
Shock dart.
Last player standing.
सिटी इसे आया
पर ऑफ
Come on.
हल्ट है तेरे पास अभी नहीं
One enemy remaining.
रिविल
Revealing area. Found them.
टाइम
करेगा
कभी खुशी कभी
Need
गम।
something nice to kill them.
काश के तुम लोग साइड में आ जाता तो ऐसे गंदा नहीं होता
इधर आओ इधर
Go, go.
लेट्स गो गाइस, जीत तो गए राउंड।
गार्डियन ऑफ
स्पेक्टर लो स्पेक्टर हम एग्जाम दे
स्पाइक ले गया रेबिट स्पाइक।
Get the spike. Revealing area.
अबे
Take flight.
There.
सेज इधर है, जेट क्लोज राइट शायद।
Take this. Goodbye.
I kind of need some backup.
Go, go. Time destroyed. Watch out.
बैकस्टेप अभी ओपन है, बैकस्टेप ओपन है।
Gotta go.
Shock dart. Scanning ahead. Captain.
Go away.
I'll handle
Go,
this.
go, go.
One enemy remaining.
to me go to me
Last round before the split.
क्या लिया? टीपी जाके क्या लिया? लर्न लिया क्या?
सीपी में जाते जाते खत्म हो गया
अरे गो हमारे गार्डियन तेरा तेरे गन मिल
तो फैंटम में
Can I get this? Thanks.
अबे मेरे से बाई ले ले कुछ। शील्ड ले ले, लास्ट राउंड है।
Get out of my way.
प्रोबल अल्ट राउंड लास्ट राउंड है अल्ट ले ले
Deploying drone.
wait
रुक मैं आ रहा रुक।
Scanning ahead.
Spike down B.
There they are.
You will not kill my allies.
प्रोबल तेरे वाल के
Last
अंदर
player standing.
तेरे वाल के
You
अंदर
want to
ड्रीम
play?
था,
Let's
ड्रीम को
play.
नहीं मारा तो साइड चला गया। एल्बो तो क्लियर कर।
Switching
पता है
sides.
एल्बो में है।
एल्बो में घुसा ना मैं।
बाद में घुसा, पहले तो इधर साइड के पीछे
तू
से
कोनी
घुसा ना।
कोनी क्लियर कर कोनी।
तो नहीं किया।
वो कर रहा था ये इधर।
Alarm bot out.
तुम्हारा गलत है।
Placing swarm grenade. Can I get this? Thanks. I'm out of here.
Revealing area.
रोटेटिंग
एक बार
रोटेटिंग।
स्ट्रीम खोल के देखना वो लोग कैसे आ रहा था, तब ब्राउज करके।
Shock dart. Shock dart.
बहुत क्या?
Enemy spotted. B.
निकल निकल।
Better luck next time. Reloading.
हुक्का में सेज और
Reloading.
रेज और ब्रिम।
भाई
I need concealment.
फिर घुस गया।
I punish you.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
ये लोग सब ब्राउज करके घुसा है बे।
Don't worry. Don't think it, eh? Go, go, go.
तू को देखते, तू को देखते।
स्क्रीन में देख ला।
अगेन कस कर। अगेन আমরা স্ট্রিম অন করে দিই।
আরে কয়েকটা শেয়ার মারলাম বে।
ये आओ আমার হাগা হাগা যেন হাগরা মে দিকে যাবে ডিম।
एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली।
Scanning ahead.
आगे क्या वो করিস না মারাইস না है। ओके ब्रिम भट्टाचार्य आ गया शायद। नाइस ब्रिम भट्टाचार्य डाउन।
अबे टिक
Revealing area.
अरे बे चैम्बर वापस गया एपे होगा डिब्बा एपे होगा।
Shock dart.
मादर चोद बच गया बे।
पर तो वो लोग के पास सेक्टर वगैरह है।
बी पे आ सकते हैं रेबिट। कम भी
वापस भी हो।
Taking that back.
30 seconds left.
ये लोग कैंपर्स है, ये लोग घुसना नहीं चाहते, उनको पुश करवाना चाहते हैं और आना।
मैं देख रहा तू लॉन्ग शॉट देख।
हैं हमें हुक्का दिया।
मैं ये देख रहा तू लॉन्ग देख।
10 seconds
ahead.
left.
घुस गया, शायद घुस गया।
ऐसे घुस गया।
There they are.
Last player standing.
95 वे।
ये लोग लास्ट मोमेंट पे स्प्लिट खेलेगा, लास्ट मोमेंट पे स्प्लिट खेलेगा। स्टेप लगा के रखो, लास्ट मोमेंट पे खेलो। तो तभी खेल।
We have some beats.
हमें क्या करना?
इधर हो, स्पेक्टर हो ना।
I need a drop. Thanks.
I'm out of here.
क्या कहते स्पेक्टर थे?
Need a drop. Thanks.
Turret out. I am with you. We are strong.
Decoy.
Revealing area. Found them.
आराम से कर लो बैठ के।
ड्रोन है क्या तेरे पास?
है
स्मोक जाने के बाद ड्रोन यूज करना।
मैं हुक क्या बोलते टीपी से कर रहा मैं टीपी से कर रहा ड्रोन।
Got one.
1 2 3 बंदा बाहर है बी के। जल्दी से रोटेट कर, बी पे सपोर्ट चाहिए होगा लोग को। हम लोग को कोई सा रिटेक खेलना होगा, नहीं तो मुश्किल है।
Cutting through.
Concealment.
Enemy spotted.
तो जब मैं होता
Revealing area. Shock dart.
Go, go, go.
रोटेट रोटेट।
Thirty seconds left.
लैंप्स पे है। $78 सेज शॉट है, शॉट है, शॉट
Scanning ahead.
प्लांटिंग ए। एक हुक,
10
एक
seconds
लैंप
left.
पे है, एक लैंप पे होगा।
Spike planted.
रुक आ रहा है।
बाहर है। जा सेज को मार, सेज को मार। तेरे पास दौड़ने का कैपेसिटी है। राइट
One enemy remaining.
Wonderful. सब कौन रखो? ओए
सीरीज
इसकी माँ की टट्टी।
अरे
Lens.
ड्यूल
टाइम है
इधर ही।
तो मारो।
Spotted A.
जा एक पुश कर, पुश
Concentrate's
कर।
over. You failed. Now sleep.
इतने भी बता देना पड़ेगा क्या?
नाइस वन।
Kill them before they kill us.
मैं समझ गया कैसे।
Gun
समझ
here.
गया तू?
अब तक नहीं समझे।
तो ये लोग का प्ले का बात कर रहा है।
ये आर्गो को यूरो का कौन आइडिया दिया अभी? इसको घंटा कुछ आता नहीं।
चिपो 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 बोलता था।
ये कुछ
मैं तभी बोला ना।
मुश्किल से रहना खेल लेता है। इजी ब्लाइंड है।
Scanning ahead.
3 है इधर।
चल भैया रोल देखो।
यूल या बात?
Take flight. Enemy mark.
Enemy A.
मैं देखने लगा।
Reloading.
Time to jump.
तुम्हारे सामने है।
Reloading.
शॉट भी हो चुका है।
हुक्का पे
You
मारो,
will
मेरे
not
मारे।
kill my ally.
Reloading.
You want to play? Let's play.
बुलेट्स नहीं है मेरा।
शॉट वहाँ से आया।
Revealing area.
ए पे हो रहा है, ए पे हो रहा है, ए पे हो रहा है। फुल स्मोक दे दिया वो। सुबह ए पे हो गया, ए पे हो गया, ए पे हो गया।
कवर।
Spike planted.
बंदूक ले।
लोड टू ले हो।
Last player standing.
और से रिवाइव ले ना।
I need a concealment.
दोनों में।
One enemy remaining.
Diffusing. I hope.
मर गया।
No worries, Charlie. No worries.
पैसा ही नहीं हो रहा है ये। तो पोजीशन चेंज करे खेलियो तो उनके साथ।
Track them down.
और प्लेयर वर्सेस देयर प्लेयर वाला सिस्टम।
पे है
Revealing area.
भाई चेंज मत करो साइड मत आओ
मेरे पास टीपी है, मैं वापस आ सकता हूँ।
अरे यार
तू जा
चल जा
घुस गया।
111 chamber
101 raise।
Spike planted.
Out of charges. Shock dart. Shock dart. Quiet now.
वन गए
दिवस,
पे रुका
Out of charges. Scanning ahead.
One enemy remaining.
Brother.
Thrifty.
लेट्स गो
They sacrificed for nothing.
मैं रहा नहीं चलाएगा
गन ले गन ले गन ले गन ले गन ले
Never show weakness. Ever.
हां ई राउंड रिटेक खेलते बड़ा मजा आता है
सेकंड तेरा बन स्पेक्टर दे। सही नहीं। सेकंड तेरा स्पेक्टर दे।
Need a drop. Thanks.
चलो चलो कोई नहीं आ जाएगा गाइस ये गेम अपना ही है अब हम लोग बस थोड़ा लोग को थोड़ा वो लिया जाता
Scanning ahead. Found them. I am the hunter.
हो खाया लेकिन टैग तो खाया
Take flight.
स्पैम कर दे
Enemy tag.
माय गॉड आ
Shock dart. Revealing area.
फुल कर दे पिक मत करो आगे मत जाओ
होल्ड करो लोग ट्राई नॉट टू पिक एंड डाई मार उसको नाइस
बुंदिया तोड़ना।
ये तो ब्रिम बोटा जर्जी का स्मोक था ना
30 seconds left.
हाँ।
Cutting through.
नियन उद्दीन क्या कर रहा है
One enemy remaining.
Scanning ahead.
Time to jump.
10 seconds left. Flawless.
ब्रिम बोटा जर्जी डाउन यस हम लोगों ने एक वो किया है थोड़ा नामकरण किया है सब एजेंट का
नाम कर।
ओमेन का क्या रखा था
ओमेन का कुछ दिया नहीं रे
ओमेन बस मुतारी।
या ना कवा बातों मत
कुछ भी हो जाए लेकिन ओजी वही है क्या बोलते हैं ब्रिम बोटा जर्जी
चंबर से थोड़ा बढ़ती
ओमेन काम भी रख दो
ओमेन गान
चांदू।
Revealing area.
दोनों अपोजिट है ना एक सफेद है काला है
Get out of my way.
Deploying.
मैं तेरा बी ड्रोन कर रहा
भी डोंट कर दिया ना डोंट पे नीड आया
हुक्का तो नहीं है
कितनी मार जा रहा है?
ऑन द साइड
गुड फॉर यू दैट यू किल देम नाइस
Need that back. Right there.
इको हिम लोग का
Scanning ahead.
Spike down B. One enemy remaining.
ओ 105 feel
Act on my intel.
ओए इधर वेंडर
Don't give them time to reposition.
वेंडर फैंटम जल्दी फैंटम टेक
कोई तो इन्फो दे रहा था ना स्टार्टिंग में वो लोग कुछ ज्यादा ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट हो गया था वो लोग इन्फो दे रहा था पता है अभी बंद कर दे इन्फो देना.
Deep breath.
चलो
Revealing area. Take flight.
मैं बी ड्रोन कर रहा है, ठीक है. 1 2 चलो.
अच्छी होगा.
नियॉन आराम से.
Shock dart. Shock dart.
अबे शॉट आवाज कौन दिख रहा है?
नियॉन उसने एक से गलती की.
क्यों? मैं क्रैकन को सपोर्ट दे रहा था.
लेकिन नहीं नियॉन
नियन सपोर्ट का
नियॉन
बात बोला.
नियॉन
What the fuck बे, तुम लोग किधर दिख रहा है कौन?
You will not kill my
वही हो रहा है.
allies.
वही हो रहा है.
भाई
वाल तोड़ दे.
Spike
देखो वाल तोड़
planted.
दे. पूरा वाल तोड़ दे. पूरा वाल तोड़ दे.
Initiated. Well divided.
आगे 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 you all.
One enemy remaining.
खाई लो.
तू कर ले.
Area is clear.
Last player standing.
रैपिड देख.
Don't interrupt my work.
अबे नहीं, तुम दोनों क्या बात देख रहा था. एक साइड तो एक एंगल पकड़ लो.
नहीं मैं अपना देख रहा था.
पहले बात शावर्स को.
What do you say, drone? Ready to
उसके बाद
stretch
फवाद
the
और-
wings?
मैं खावर था
उसका-
पहले. शायद मेरे को मेन से पर आता. मैं बोला है.
हाँ मैं मिनीमेट में सब देखा भाई. ये चीज बोल रहा
मैं बैटल दो.
ये ब्रीम इधर से फुल वॉक इन कर लिया, पता है. इधर से फुल इधर पे आया. इधर पे आके मुझे मारा.
क्रैकन तेरा वेंडर दे.
Need a drop. Thanks.
अबे ये चैंपियंस के लिए बना है बे, नुबड़ों के लिए नहीं.
एक किलो
You
ऊपर
want to
है.
play?
बल्कि
Let's play.
बात तो सुनो बड़ी की.
कब है कितना दे.
Take flight. Enemy marked.
1 2 3.
आगे आओ.
मर जा भोसड़ी के.
पूरा वापस किया. 80
ठीक ले रहा है.
120 टैग है. 120.
क्यों पिक ले रहा है?
मेरा गलती ये मेरा गलती.
सब आ गया इधर. अबे ये कैसा आया?
Spike
जिसने खड़ा
planted.
वैसे वो आया.
Covering it.
भाई सब जब मर जाओ जाके.
अबे ये लोग
Last player standing.
So shy.
फुल वॉकिंग करते हैं. वॉक करके घुस रहे हैं भाई.
मेन बोल रहा है आई
अभी
नीड.
चंबा रहेगा ऑपरेटर.
मेन ब्लॉक कर दे. अच्छा तुम्ही जाना तर वाक करू यार. तुम्ही
अरे सॉरी आम्ही कव्हर दवायला लागली ती सेफ्टी आहे
Match
ते
point.
म्हटलं की आम्ही
That
गेस.
moment is gone.
तुम्ही आपण पोरा दारांचा.
आम्ही ডিফে গেছি না আমি এখানে আইছিলাম. আমি একবার রাইট দিকে লেফট দেখছি দেখি হে আই গেছে.
I need a drop. Thanks.
ওকে কেন তো ফ্যান্টম দে ফ্যান্টম করে না.
ওখানে পারতাম না বেটা, অত টাইম লেটে খরচ পড়া.
Thanks.
রাউন্ডে স্টার্টিং করিস গান লো লো.
तर राउंड स्टार्टिंग आवाज 12 सेकंड लागतो.
I'll find
अच्छा
them.
तुम्ही जायचं लागतं ना. तुम्ही दुसरे खेळलो ना. आता हाऊस किती.
दा
Scanning ahead. Deploying drone.
आता लागो.
Enemy tag.
1 2 2 दिखा मुझे.
आता लागो नाही.
Shock dart.
बाजे लागते. 98 98. लॉन्ग पे जेट 98.
तू मर कैसे जाता है?
हुक्का हमको नहीं हो.
अभी ये लोग रोटेट कर लेगा. नियॉन जल्दी जा.
Revealing area.
ड्रीम लॉन्ग
पड़ेगा.
हाँ
दोनों है इधर.
हां
इधर से
player
120 Sage.
30 seconds left.
तो ऐसे ऐसे ही मरा
Take this.
अंदर
One enemy remaining.
This way.
Spike down B.
उधर था मेन पे था.
Ten seconds.
Nice रे. Nice.
ये लाइनअप पे चला था क्या?
Try that again. I dare you.
मार दिया मोली
हाँ ये इसका काम ही ये कि मारो और मोली. लाइनअप रेडी.
हाँ मारा
ले जा रहा है इस बार
और दीपक तेरा बैंड दे
इंडिया जा. तुम्ही साइड एक खेळतोय टाको.
అయితే ఆమె బెస్ట్ గా ఇస్తాం బే
Get out of my
Scanning
way.
ahead. There they are. Take flight.
मैं बात ड्रोन कर रहा.
अबे
अंदर खेल.
एस 5
बॉड बंदा.
No chance. Defeated.
Fire in the
30
hole.
वे 162
Scanning ahead.
भाई ये बैंग नहीं होता.
योल योल रेस योल
फेक.
Cutting through. Fake teleport.
गांड फेक.
30 seconds left. Last player standing.
ये देख आरएनजी मार रहे हैं
तुम्हारा डिकॉय सारखा है.
फेक क्यों बोल रहा है
तो फेक बोलते हैं ना उसको. फेक बोलता है इसको.
उसको डिकॉय बोलते हैं
प्रीम थ्रो कर रहा है डोंट डाई
10 seconds left.
Fucking bitch.
साइड ग्रीन के पास है
मत मार
Clutch.
Hey people, come on now. I'm
ए
anticipating
हमें
my
फेक कोई से
congratulations.
फेक
अब फेक सारते मने किता.
You must give
अबे
बाल अंदू यो करिसना. बेंगर কোনো আইডিয়া নেই. ব্রেনও বড় পিও বড় খসু বড়.
এটা মানে তোর ইংলিশ ভাষাতে আমি কিটা করতা আর কিটা লাগে
दिमागो पियो बड़ा बड़ा.
টিপি ফেক টিপি ডিকॉय
তো ফেক টিপি তোরে কইছি নি আমি. ফেক টিপি কইছি নি. তোরে ফেক দে. ফেক সারতে মানে কিতা.
ते ডিকॉय কইছস নি ডিকॉय কইছস নি
Revealing area.
সিলাস কিটা
সারা ইউটিলিটি থাকি যায় রাউন্ডের শেষ অবধি.
এটা মানানি লেকিন ওলা ছড়াই মনানি
সুত মারানি তো নানিরে চড়াই মুখ ফেলার ইচ্ছা.
যারা আমি এখন তো সুত মারানি
হাট্টা মারানি.
এটা এটি বেশি বেশি এটা এটি মারে এক তো নিজের ইংলিশ উল্টা মারছে
আমি ইংলিশ মারছি বুঝলো. হাট
হর হর
ফেল.
জিমার বন্ধ
তো নানি স্ট্রিমার.
তোর নানি তো কোনদিন বলতে পারত
তোর নানি স্ট্রিমার. তোর নানি কইব আও উলা দেখাইব উলা.
Revealing area.
अबे ओए थोड़ा मार बोल
তুই বই থাক তুই টিপিত ব.
আমি কিছু করলামই না ভাই
Quiet now.
Spike planted.
Shot dart.
There.
Last player standing.
60.
बाय बाय
Attackers win.
আমি সলো কি মারাম যা
মার.
তোরা জিজ্ঞেস না
এনে ফুঙ্গাই মারা রে ভাই যে
ओ
নো একজনের নিয়ে স্টাপ হই
ঠিক আছে
ये पूछना है
किसी का इंजन कर लिया
हाँ
डाको ना रोड
ये खाली नहीं रखता
childish behaviors
मुझे तक नहीं हो मुझे हार्ट फील
है
childish
स्टार्ट करते हैं।
Match found.
जैसे बोलो अपन
नहीं कुछ सेज खेलता है
नहीं
तो
कोई खेलता है यार
क्या खेलता है ब्रो?
स्मोक कोई लेगा
नहीं, स्मोक आते तो खेल सकता।
सेकंड दिया
हाँ हाँ
यार
मैं सोवा खेलेगा।
घुसने के लिए चाहिए होगा रेडी अकेला घुसने में
क्या तू क्या खेलेगा?
मैं आप जेट या फिर रेस खेलने से मैं सही
ये
खेलूंगा।
कैसे खेलना अभी ड्यूरेक्ट खेल लूंगा खेलूं वो
ना 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 ठीक है
अभी ड्यूरेक्ट खेले इसके लास्ट में ड्यूरेक्ट खेल
हमारा एबिलिटीज सेटअप करता मैं एकदम
ना ना करके अंत से हिलाते के जे हमें हिल ले ड्यूरेक्ट
ना ना वो खेल
कि बंगाली हो भाई
कहने
है भाई बोल।
लास्ट मैच एक ड्यूरेक्ट खेलो इसका प्लीज धीरे धीरे स्मोक की तरह वाह
डबल स्मोक सही है। आज तो सेंटिनल वर्सेस द गार्ड का मैच है ना?
Why is
हाँ, बोलो।
no one wearing the pulse monitors I gave you? Honestly, I asked for it.
अच्छा आपको फोटो दिया था क्या
हाँ मैं तुमको बोला डॉक्यूमेंट करके भेजने के लिए।
और डॉक्यूमेंट भेजेंगे फिर
हाँ मैं भूल गया, मैं रेस खेला, मैं इधर पे लाइनअप के लिए। अबे नहीं बे, काम तेरे दिमाग में जो रहता है ना सब लोगों का काम भी रहता है।
बेसिकली नेकेड फोटो है
अरे यार बंगाली कौन
हाँ वो प्रबल ने तेरा फोटो भेजा, बोला कि जॉनी सिंह के मुंडी पे मतलब तेरा मुंडी रिप्लेस कर तेरा मुंडी डालना है।
Grenade!
टेक आउट
मिड चेक कर रहा, मिड क्लियर है ऑलमोस्ट।
रोटेट कर दो
कौन सा है
Reloading. Get him. Opponent's killed.
तीन ही घुसो अंदर तीन ही घुसो अंदर
गोइंग है
अंदर तुझे निकलना नहीं था
हाँ
इनके ने बैर हो गया गांटा मेरे दिलो ना तुम्हें
अरे एक्स्ट्रा मार दिया ना एक्स्ट्रा को भी
यार क्यों मार लियो
पीछे पीछे
One enemy remaining.
I'm in blue ready. Nice one.
एक लिए घोस्ट हो गया सब लेके चला जाएगा
Hurt them again.
ए पे जा रहा हूं
पता है सोना का चुप के नहीं
जा रहा हूं
তোমাকে রেগুলার খেলো আমাকে একটু ডেকে নিও আমি এটা
नो एकदम खाली हो गए थे कल कितने के तुम्हारे जमा स्लॉट था भाई
হাত দে
ओ मार्शल सॉरी
Shadows traveling.
स्टॉप मार्शल
Oh! What the fuck?
जमीन आते
বি যাবে
मिड पे टर्रेट है
Cutting their vision.
Enemy down.
नाइस बैक टू
Reloading. I need healing.
For you. Here.
There.
मामा दुकान में
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
ডিঙ্ক আছে
पता नहीं
মানে খেয়েছে ড্যামেজ খেয়েছে
No charges left.
पता रहना को जाने नहीं दिया पता छुप के बैठा हुआ था तो
Everyone makes fun of German efficiency. Ha ha. Just keep laughing as you use all my gear.
going in लोग बाहर रहेंगे अभी
সবাই আছে যেখানে সবাই
घुस गया
Reloading.
কত স্মোক
Bomb buddy out. Grenade.
Enemy spotted B.
साइड पे
Reloading. Still in sight.
वन के बोट हाउस
Spike down B.
भाई उसको 18 दिया बे फक बे
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
गन ले
পেছনে ভ্যান্ডেল আছে
तो राइट साइड है ये मोरसिलो
ना बोट हाउस
30 seconds left.
लास्ट के बोट हाउस था
अरे ध्यान मोरसिलो काना
ओ
এই কর্নারটা চেক করুন
तो राइट कॉर्नर में गन
প্ল্যান করুন
वो
Spike planted.
বোটাস
नाइस वे आउट प्ले योर बिग ब्रेन
এই চ্যাম্পিয়ন্সটা করুন
चैंपियंस टाइम देवो तुम्हारे टेंशन की नहीं
Clutch.
चैंपियंस से नहीं
This is what I trained for. Damn Sage, you do everything. Why are the rest of us even here?
लेके जा रहा हूँ
डेविड तुम्हारा टीम पेस का दो हमके
लेकिन जब पे खड़ा क्यों दिख रहा था
क्या हुआ?
कि हटते हटते और दराज जब सीधा
ओ ना ना बाई मेनू खुल चला.
Can I get a drop?
I need buy.
Thanks.
हटते हटते बाई मेनू खुलती है
Grenade! Bomb buddy out.
भाई आके मार के जा रहे बे दौड़ के. What is wrong? Fuck.
गलत बे
Pathetic.
मिटो बेटा तो तुम्हारा लेफ्ट पे गया एकदम पिक नहीं बना मीडिया से
क्या
Nice mango.
मंगो मीडिया स्मोक दिया
एक बंदा साइड पे घुसा.
Powers
Nice hold.
out.
Koda spasta koda.
करो
B है.
साइड पे नहीं है
नो मार देना उसको. साइड पे था. बी पे प्लांट हो रहा है.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
हाँ एंटी रे.
वाला
One enemy remaining.
लास्ट गाय बोर्ड था.
Last player standing.
नाइस.
मैंगो बाला चलो बहुत बाला मैंगो एक काम कर गए हैं
Did you really expect that to work?
Usually blind है.
फॉल लेगा ना
Phenomenal. We train for this.
ভালো করে একটা বেন্ডার ট্রিগার ফ্রেন্ড
Can I get this? Thanks.
बोलिए भैया
हाँ बोलो.
वन टैप बस वन टैप खेलो ना टैप मत खेलो
अजय को खिला देंगे ना सेंटिनल से खिला
Let's make
है
them
है
dance.
सेंटेंस वर्सेस द गार्ड.
একটা সিরিজ
बोलिए भैया
अबे व्हाट द फक बे. कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है बे. मैं मूव नहीं हो रहा.
You should run. Reloading.
हट जा निकल. कोई नहीं है ये लोग.
Spike planted.
ब्लाइंड साइड. बन गया बोट.
One enemy remaining.
नाइस. मैं और आगे नहीं खेलेगा.
Thanks.
पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है बे. मेरा बॉडी अचानक आगे चला जाता है.
प्रवाल
Reloading.
और सेंटिनल से 1:30 बजे से क्या कितना बजे
हाँ 1:30 बजे से.
They want to dance? I'll leave.
ये लास्ट गेम होगा शायद आज तो देखेगा शाउट को देखेगा बाय
Can I get a drop?
डिब्बो भाई दे. डिब्बो
Thanks.
अब मेरे को लिंक शेयर कर देना सेकंड भैया
हाँ.
तुम लोग का कुछ ग्रुप वगैरह है
গ্রুপ আছে ফ্যামিলি ডিনার আছে
আসলে আমি টিম পাই না খেলে মানে একা খেলতে হয়
ए पे स्मोक किया
ये स्मोक किसका था?
ওটা ওদের রুম
अच्छा ठीक है.
हम लोग ऊपर एफ साइड पे
नाइस
You will not kill
नहीं
my
ये लोग इधर
ally.
पे रेस्ट किया.
वाइंस है वाइंस
Grenade.
Spike down A.
आया केजे और एक तो मैं
एरिया अच्छा था ये
Bomb buddy.
रुक.
105 केजे
Wait.
I need device please.
पीछे है.
One enemy
I need heal. I need heal. Just wait.
Spike down A.
Okay.
Satchel out. For you.
30 seconds left.
Enemy spotted A.
वाइंस है
Last player standing.
19.
एक्शन का डेट करते हैं अयो इसको लगा नहीं पारे
Nice bat too.
केजे 105 पे
They don't have a single life worth saving.
ये मेरे साथ बकचोदी कर रहा था स्मोक का पैकेज. उसको पता नहीं कि अपना टीम में एक स्मोकर बैठा हुआ है जो नीचे बैठ करता रहता है. इसको देख के कितने सीखता है.
अच्छा ए पे नहीं है ना, मैं ए पे जा रहा हूँ.
No prisoners.
कहते हैं फिर भी तो है
ओ बे सॉरी बे बहुत गंदा बनी.
Bomb buddy out.
ऊपर उठ जा आराम से. बस नीचे रेबिट हो जाएगा. Let us smoke this.
रेबिट क्रॉस
Let us smoke there. Omen. Joldi.
पूरी दीदी सब बाहर आ सब बाहर
They are going B. Rabbit ja.
You should run.
Spike down mid.
Next.
नाइस
One enemy remaining.
फिर से मार दो
Mid. लेकिन पिक मत दो. वैसे ही आएगा.
30 seconds left.
Bomber. Cloud. Sector. Bomb.
टर्रेट है अभी तक जिंदा
सही साउंड भी ऐसे ठीक देता है. देखो. अरे
एपी अरे एटे एकदम
10 seconds left.
मेरा मार प्लान करते अल्ट मार देना. इतना
Grenade.
What's mine?
Can I get drinks?
हाँ मैं स्ट्रीम किया. मैं स्ट्रीम कर रहा अभी. मैं वॉच पार्टी कर लेगा.
किसी को पता नहीं चलना चाहिए हमारा आईपीएल कैसा है.
This needs to be a secret.
Spike down A.
Satchel out.
Holding tree. I'm holding tree. Okay.
Okay.
Spike's there.
Smoke है by any chance?
लेवल से घूम के आ सकते हैं
स्पैम करियो.
ऑल
स्मोक है.
30 seconds left.
अभी अंदर खेलना मैं कवर दे रहा हूँ मैंगो प्लीज कॉर्नर पे चिपक के
अरे रे हेवन
One enemy remaining.
प्रबाल
আমি লিটারালি আমার দিকে থেকে আইছে না
नॉट प्लीज
লিটারালি আমি জানি না আমার দিকে থেকে আইছে না আমি বিআর ইও হ্যান্ডেল করি
Let them
थ्री को
try
पता
to
नहीं
get
थ्री कौन देख रहा था
गाना बोलना क्रिएट है
थ्री तो আমার না
फाइट या फलाने से या
ना ना मैक्स टेबल ले गया
हाँ मैं बंद कर दिया मैं दरवाजा बंद कर दिया था वो
কোন লই
माय बैड
না এটা তো ঠিক দেখতে হবে
ওইদিকে তো আইয়া বইছে যেন ওইদিকে দেখতে পারো লোকে থাকতে
अबे नहीं बे मैं बूमबोर्ड छोड़ने जाएगा फिर मेरा बॉडी अटक जाएगा हाँ मैं बोला ना माय बैड
You are divided. Reload.
Grenade!
आया क्लोज
Satchel out. Satchel out.
Spike planted.
आराम से
Headshot. Got him, baby.
मार इसको
Got him.
One enemy remaining.
रेस्ट कर
Your duty is not over. Grenade! Like, this is crazy. Shame. I love explosions. Together, we will bury them under their transgressions.
ग्रेनेड खाया बे
Need a drop.
की भाई की चाहिए
প্রবাল বাইরে রোবট কা
Can I get a drop? Thanks.
Need a drop.
Thank you.
कहाँ का तो ब्लास्टिक का
शील्ड ले ले मैंगो
हाँ सो
There.
देखिए स्मोक
Bomb buddy out.
हेल्प
Grenade!
घुस गया मार्केट घुस गया डबल मार्केट
Satchel out. Satchel out.
मार्केट घुस गया
Engineer killed.
कैटवॉक है कैट टॉप है होल्ड जस्ट होल्ड
सेजू
One enemy
नाइस
remaining.
नाइस
हाँ कैटवॉक पे साउंड आया अभी तेरे पास नाइस
गाड़ी है
नहीं सोचा कि
अगर निकल जाए
Even with numbers, anything can still happen. Remember that.
मैं मेरा पोजीशन चेंज करूँ क्या एक बार
नहीं क्यों ये लोग तुमको ब्रेक नहीं कर पा रहा ना
मेरा सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगा
हाँ वही तो मूवी तुमको देख के वो लोग रोटेट कर लेते हैं पता है क्या हाँ
तो मैं भी यूट्यूब चैनल चलेगा
एग्जैक्टली
चलेगा
नाइस देखो ना तुम मिड इसके मार्केट डट्टी
देखो मैं ट्री देखो
Bomb buddy out.
तो अभी सारी
Grenade! You will not kill my allies.
होल्ड होगा मैं आओ आओ
लग तो रहा था फुल पुश है, पता नहीं. नाइस वन. ओमेन 46 हाँ. नाइस वन.
Spike down A.
मिड
Say.
एडी ऊपर से आएगा, ऊपर से आएगा.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
नाइस.
ये नहीं, ऊपर नहीं है.
Last player standing.
बढ़िया. करेक्ट कॉल.
ऑल्ट कर दे.
वेन ऑपरेटर डैड नहीं. मिल जाएगा.
Last round in the half.
ऑपरेटर
Spend those creds before we lose them. Can I get this?
एक्सीलेंट चल सकता मैं.
ठीक है सर. सेकंड भैया मेरे को मिडलिंग देखता है. और मैं तू मुक्ता टू इसको मैं देखना. वहां पर इसको देख.
मिड मिड.
मुक्ता देखने. मुक्ता दियो तो उसको मैं हट के रहा.
ओके.
नहीं कर रहा है. मैं बस
Let's make some chaos.
Shadows traveling.
नाइस वन.
वेरी नाइस.
Get it.
You should run.
Initiated.
हम अंदर आ गए.
मेरे शॉट मेरे को
Caught one.
सेज कॉट.
सेट कर.
भाई मेजो.
ओमेन 40 आते हैं.
Cutting their vision. One enemy remaining.
For me.
हील देना सागे. चलो हो गया.
ये रहना मेरे हाथ से बहुत पीट रहा है.
Switching sides. Match point.
ये क्या हो गया? इंटरेस्ट जाते हम लोग का वो बढ़ के से गया 12-0.
Placing alarm box.
नहीं ये लोग कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे. दो स्मोक है ना.
Gun here.
ब्लाइंड लेना के पास की.
और रहना ही मर जा रहा है.
Gun here.
क्या चाहिए? क्लासिक चाहिए क्या?
अपना प्राइम आते हैं.
There we
फुल कर दो.
इधर पे वो है. केजी का टैरेट था.
Reloading. Turret out.
रहना जैसे इधर है ना.
Hey. Reloading. Healing. Reloading.
हील देना. आई एम वेरी लो. आई एम वेरी लो. हेवन पे ओमेन लो है.
Barrier clear.
ऊपर.
One enemy remaining.
नाइस. ओ ऊपर ही है.
Last player standing.
कोई दिखेगा.
कूद गया.
Clutch.
नाइस.
अबे रेड एवोकाडो ने सबको मार दिया क्या इतनी जल्दी?
अरे ब्लाइंड फायर.
Their tech is only as good as their skill. And there we have some
ठीक है
beats.
कमाल.
हम नहीं तो दूसरा समझ.
Can I get this? Thanks.
बी है.
नाम मिट गया.
Turret out. Enemy spotted mid. Grenade. Bomb buddy. Satchel out. Enemy spotted mid.
आराम से दे आराम से.
130 बे. रहना 70 ये 130. हाँ मैंगो
Last player standing.
দেখাই দো শুভ একবার বহুদিন থেকে এস দেখছি না মার্শালের দিকে उनके যেটা 120 দিন
30 seconds left.
আরে কেজে মুখ দেখার নাই গো হচ্ছে হই গেছে মারি দাও কে মারি দিয়ে যাবে
My shadows, they will hide you.
জানেন এটা বহুত প্রবলেম হয় আমার মাটি ধরে যায় তো সতেরো না
Can I get this? Thanks.
তুমি নম্বর
सेकंड एक मास्टर स्ट्रीम करना
अबे नहीं आ रहा ना मेरे स्टोर पे नहीं आ रहा क्या करूँ मैं बोल चल
आराम से आराम से आराम से आराम से आराम से
Bomb buddy. Reloading.
ब्लाइंड कर 70 बे क्या लंड का गन है बे बुलडॉग
Placing sentry.
ये ओमेन
अबे बैठ जाता है बे
Last player standing.
ये तो मेरा बाप लिख रहा है
ओमेन का सब जो स्टंट हो रहा है ना वो मेरे स्ट्रीम पे रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है बे स्ट्रीम
साइड कंट्रोल लो ना साइड
Wait until I blind them to strike.
काम हो रहा दिलावार पालवाल में
Alarm bot out.
दिलावार
Can I get thanks?
वाल वाल कुछ हो जाए तो भाई सुंदर कर इन्हें और बैंडेज बस फंक्शन कर लो
The fuck गुस्से क्या किया बोल मैं
Here.
नहीं नहीं स्मोक
Go get him. Turret out.
केजे का इधर है केजे का सेटअप है
Cover going out.
मैं जेन जा रहा है मैं जेन जा रहा है हट
Satchel out. Satchel out. Still in sight. Grenade.
हेवन पे है अंडर हेवन 140 अंडर हेवन 140
My double's
Nice.
dead. Light planted.
Shadows traveling.
ठीक है
One enemy remaining.
Turret destroyed.
Attackers win.
नहीं खेलेगा और नहीं खेलेगा खेलेगा ही नहीं
क्यों नहीं
डर
खेले
गया है यात्रा डर गया
नहीं मेरा टाइम हो गया कल ड्यूटी भी है सॉरी आपको दो ना
जब पेस्टिलेंस आया
मैच देखना है ना मैच नहीं देखोगे क्या
हाँ 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 अच्छा अच्छा वो
शुरू हो गया
रुको गाइस अभी अभी वो करते हैं वॉच पार्टी करते हैं
अच्छा एक काम करो ना सेकंड मेरे को लिंक भेजो ना
हाँ मैं ट्विच का भेज रहा
ट्विच का भेज रहे हो ट्विच डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा क्या
अच्छा हाँ वो फिर यूट्यूब का रुको भेज रहा मैं
वेयर इज फिनिक्स Thank you so much.
Introducing Opera GX, the first browser built for...
He just keeps clicking it away, and somehow it just works.
I was going to bring this up to the team that whenever it's match day, I would advise nobody go to the Valorant streams. Nobody check the viewership. Nobody check any of that because it can add extra pressure that's just unnecessary. You just need to focus on the game.
Everyone's always asking me like, oh, do you feel nervous like Sentinel's fan base? I always give the same answer.
Chalo guys, Sentinels versus the guard. The game is on.
And I'm confident. I've been playing really good in practice, and we've been playing really good as a team. I feel like we're ready.
Oh my gosh, what the heck was that?
For me, success would be obviously to play well, right? But success for the whole team would be winning the whole thing. I don't think anyone's here to get second or we're here to win and we want to get first. As a team, we want to win the MVP.
And we are back, just about ready to jump into the first match of the game. Sentinels guard, the revamped Sentinels, as they brought in Celsius and Shroud, and a guard who is looking to find a win after a very disappointing stage 2 and stage 1 Masters. It all starts here for the Celsius. Set for the break. Apple does kind of lean a little bit for the guard. It was really important that Apple goes in direction. This is actually, in my opinion, a pretty even series.
Yeah, I think it is quite even, considering how rough guard was slumping in stage 2, and considering that Sentinels are coming in as a complete unknown quantity. They get to start on Breeze. We don't really know their map pool because it is that brand new squad with new players, but Breeze is a comfortable map if you have that color coverage style, if you're a new team, and if you just have great individuals, which they have Tens, they have Shroud, they have all these fantastic players that can pop off on this map.
Absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, it's hard to stand here and be like, yeah, we know exactly what's going to happen coming into this match. New team, new players. But honestly, forget all that, because I'm just excited to see this matchup, right? Like, this is so much fun. We get to see Shroud on a pro stage for the first time in 4 or 5 years. It's going to be absolutely awesome, and it starts off with our best team in 2021 going up against the stage 1 champions in the guard. Of course, only one team can walk away.
And I'm also really curious because we start things out on Breeze. You're saying this is not a map that typically the guard has played. This was their perma before. We haven't seen a whole lot of it. What we have seen, not good.
Buck doesn't like it, guys. That's what that means.
Not good. I'm hopeful that we'll see some changes, though, and it's going to start here in the agent select. As we take a look at the pool, as it's going to build for both teams. We were talking about it in the pre-match. We really want to see some adaptation coming from the guard because they felt super stale in the last stage. As they had a hard time with new comps, and then they went back to the old comps.
You want adaptation? Then why did we head to Breeze? Because this map has been quite stale. How the Sentinels is pulling something a little bit different out. As standard is that farm. Pretty much everyone runs that, but for Sentinels, they've made one change. Instead of that pair with sometimes Sky as a secondary initiator, they flex onto the Fade.
Yeah, we've started seeing this trend on more maps, more and more. Like we've seen it on Ascent, I've seen a team running on Haven with the triple initiator, and importantly, like the double scout agents, right? Like both Fade and Soba can be so much information over a map. Yes, you no longer have the ability to put the jet to dive into a site, but realistically, that's kind of hard to do on Breeze anyways. Primarily, if you're dashing into a site, it's quick right, left swing, you clear the close corners. Well, you do the same thing with a Sova drone or a Fade Cat. You have all of these tools to be able to get space onto the sites, get information with those close angles, but also when it comes to mid-round calling, right? If you decide not to end up hitting onto a site, you can then clear space in mid, because it is so frustrating, especially with the jet chamber on the other side. Those two agents creeping up mid on you, they can cut down on rotation so easily. So that's what the information is going to give us.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to bring up. Traditionally, most teams just send their jet mid pretty much every round on either side. For Sentinels, they're going to switch on over to that chamber. This is Penz's chamber debut. We were expecting him to try out the agent here in the LCQ, and he's going over towards it. It's a logical choice to put your star off and your star duelist on that role. And if there's a map to do it, if there's a map to run the duelist, I think it makes a lot of sense on Breeze. I'm excited to see what they expect.
Really curious to see what's going to go down here on our first map of this best of three. We've got our casters standing by. It's Rivington and Van Silly. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Mark, and everybody at the desk. Riv, this is one of those games where I'm super excited about because you talked about palpitations. I have sweaty palms. I think I'm more excited to watch this game than I was watching the Masters 2 in Copenhagen between these two teams.
Is it a simulation? Are we in a movie? The script is perfect. I cannot wait for this game to play out. There's so much skill going into this game right now.
Okay, guys, 20 seconds to go only. Dapper, Tans, Shroud, Zelsis and Shazam. Opponent में Velin, Jonah P, Nat, Trent and Saya player. वैसे लोग वर्सेस खेल चुके हैं पहले, लेकिन अभी जो नया कॉम्प है जिसमें Zelsis और Shroud है, वो भी मजा आएगा देखने में.
Can Saya play something different? But he started things off as a jet, going for a double push with Jonah P inside the 8 holes. But for Sentinels, it's a different look. A triple initiator, starting with the Owl Drone, tagging net, potentially forcing the fall back. There you go, back at the bridge, opening up the A site.
Okay, Zelsis खेल रहा है. Initiator.
Actually allow just jet, right? If Sentinels wanted to play jet through this map pool that we see here as they encroach onto A, slowly scaling in. They could, but still, the chamber's there. What will David do?
Yeah, there's on the flank here. They're already coming around the corner.
Nice one, Shroud. Nice one.
There you go. Who better than Shroud for the first blood? Traded out though, and it's looking to be a back and forth. The back with Sense in control.
Oh, nice. Nice round. Nice round. Nice round.
Given the first round for Sentinels.
Nice round.
Beautifully played. The triple initiator composition requires a lot of the members of Sentinels to be together, to work as a team. You don't have somebody that's dashing forward, that's gaining the space. When those flashes go out, there needs to be bodies. And you saw all of Sentinels, very nice scaling onto the side off Shroud's wall. He picks up the first blood. You couldn't write it better here, and they do take first round. There's going to be a Marshall 4 Saya player in the second round to see if we can get anything else.
That's something common that we usually see from Saya player anyways, and a perfect map to bring that out to you, but is actually using it more towards the A holes. Meanwhile, where we do have pressure from the defenders is a 3 stack from the guard up here towards the tunnel, and it did match a little bit of control from utility from initiators, but we have also a push coming out from Net, who does get spotted, does get picked for a bit, down to 40 HP, and now falling back.
Little 3-man test, making sure they can at least trade if they do go for one. Dapper, you see Dapper on the peak there, but he also has a bit of an anchor coming from Tens. And Sentinels have always kind of played that unconventional. It was Sick on Sage or Dapper on something else on the controllers to get their engages, to be their duelists. Sentinels have always had a different style. And the triple initiator as well leads to a style where you can play straight.
Let's go, boys. Maxbox bro, who are you supporting now? Like which team?
Has this quite red though, Vincent.
That triple initiator allows it to play a little bit more slowly, but look at that, around the corner, wall comes up, and it's going to be another double flank coming soon from the guard, as Sentinels are executing inside the B site. Here we go, just across the wall. Dialin is going to be the first one.
Okay. Shroud is looking crispy, guys. Shroud is crispy. Okay, Valiant flank pair. Nice stance.
Coming in as a chamber, getting a shot on to Net. We're still looking back at the flank, and now it's only going to be a Saya player spotted towards the mid.
Well played, well played, well played. Nice round, guys. Nice round.
It's going to be impossible for Saya player to try to win this 3 versus 1 with only Marshall.
The he can hit a few through the smoke, that would have been fantastic for him, but it looks like he will get contact. And even a far rotation off here by Shroud to make sure that they can just hang back for the full defuse if it's necessary. Great damage by Guard. Second round is Sentinels though with another plant, so extra economy there so they can get themselves into this bonus round. It might be a little bit of a back and forth buy. Maybe Tens of the Spectre, he may just go full Headhunter here, and it looks like he will do that. Guard have tried to push onto B. They played Saya player towards a Marshall for that round, so hoping he can get the Blade Storm soon. It doesn't look like an operator in the future with the economy just yet. And we'll see what they do now as they spit Saya player over towards A. Sprint calls now. They spread out this defense. Keep an eye on net towards mid and how much coverage he can control with his move towards A for Sentinels. They can, again, do anything, right? It's off of protocol. Not really strategies for them, as they can flow anywhere with this composition and play style we've usually seen.
That's why we're talking about is trying to stay in the default style that you have for Sentinels with the triple initiator. Playing it more slowly, using your utility of the initiators to figure out if the guard are going to be pushing somewhere early like they did in last game. This means that we might potentially see some rotations that can get in sight, but this time it's going to be quick. And it's going to be an open door, but Trent holding it up towards that bridge. 2 kills on the ground and Dapper. 10's the last player standing stuck at the mid double doors. Now on a 3 versus 1. Make that versus 1, but he just gets
hard luck. Hard luck, nahi?
the first one on the board for the guard as Sentinels head that bonus round.
Yeah, nicely retaliated by the guard, not thrown off by the fact that there were 3 coming out, even blind with that fade utility from Dapper. Guard still able to retaliate and get the right calls down. They had a good read on it too. 2 were leaning towards A. They had the hulls and mid lean coming in from net, so nicely positioned also towards A to make sure that bonus round went in favor. Now, well, first full gun, and may look to get an orb here. Hulls, get that force online. We'll see how they play this. Spike is down, so this definitely means they want to read out the guard. They want to make sure when they use this initiator utility, it is used to the max.
They are so dead. Trying to push real quick now. Second block contact. Jonah P does manage to get the kill onto 10s, so that cancels out the duel to false, but at least it gets traded up by Shroud. But Saya player also pushed forward, and that's good for Shroud to fall back. Thankfully as well for Sentinels, they still have 3 initiators on the board to be able to try to re-clear that shop if they want to, and that's where we're leaning for Sentinels. Look at this push with Trent, just by Sussy. He looks on the top of the net, catches her.
Nice Zelsis, nice Zelsis. Nice pick.
Receiving and reading.
सब लोग ए पे फोकस्ड है अभी फिलहाल. ए पे वाला आया शॉट का. वॉल अप कर रहा है, क्लियर कर रहा है एंगल्स, ड्रोन से भी क्लियर कर रहा है. ओके ओके, नाइस डेपर. शॉट गोइंग फॉर द अल्ट. ओह नाइस शैज, नाइस शैज. Not too good. 1v3 भी मुश्किल होगा वेलिन के लिए, you know. Nice, nice Shaz, nice Shaz.
Shazam came out of nowhere and got that frag, and it's going to be now 3 rounds for the Sentinels.
Yeah, the really interesting thing there at the end of the round, and I'm sure.
वैसे मैप पे उसका है क्या बोलते हैं? Okay.
All of the action was in the bottom right hand corner, right?
मैप पे फिलहाल ब्रिज सेंटिनल्स का है, but you never know.
There's another kill towards their side. Kill already happened. Another kill back. So Sentinels completely absorbing the push from Guard here. Guard though active, looking, reading, right? They're learning in these rounds just as much as Sentinels is. So we may see Guard slow down a bit once they've got a feel. Seeing Sentinels in this death ball, the rounds they have pushed. So both sides getting information as we start this game out. It really hasn't told us much yet.
Right now,
3-1.
Still rotting here for Sentinels, looking to see if we still once again have an aggressive push. And we are, but it's on an extremity on the ace side as you see Net lurking up toward the cave and never being very passively back to us.
Guys, please don't forget to leave a like and drop a comment also.
Extremities from the Guard here as much as they can. Net firing a few off. Looks like
Okay.
Iron Sight is not calibrated.
Net is 50 HP now.
He gets out of that one, the worse for wear. And again, Sentinels waiting. Look how far, like in spawn. That's the call. That's the call in game, right? They're where they buy guns. They're still where they buy. Yeah. Slowly moving again in this death ball, though, keeping themselves safe, being able to anchor each other's sentinels.
Nice Dapper. Nice.
Shots for sentinels.
Wow. What a team play, guys. What a team play. Even though eco round hai, but फिर भी, you know.
And this is one of the good things we're seeing from Sentinel so far, Riv, where we're actually saving this toxic
Nice Jonah P.
just for the hits. So use your initiator.
Crispy
to
way,
scout the map,
crispy.
Find out where the stack could possibly be, trying to catch the players off guard. They're trying to play aggressive. Then when it comes down to a hit, well, you still have your wall and you have plenty of utility for the two flashes, the haunt, also on the
Exactly.
So there's just so
Nice,
much
nice, nice.
down
Shaz वैसे crispy है, guys. वो miss नहीं करने वाला.
still needs to start learning and adapting in their, what I would call still their comfort take on this map.
Yeah, and seeing the chamber push on one side of the map tells you a lot, actually. You know, there might be another push, but chances are you have a read that there's a heavy towards the left side. Chamber can obviously teleport out from that push, so you never really want to go too hard on it. And Sentinels, as you said, going in, playing the wall when they do or don't need it, that was the that was the save-ish for the guard, right? So, of course, Sentinels are going to take the long-range firefight. The aim has been on. You see everybody getting a piece of the pie right now. Ultimates have already been used to secure a few rounds for Sentinels. We saw a very early Viper's Pit from Shroud.
साया वो कर रहे हैं. Op कर रहे हैं. Okay, it's gonna be tough.
We do have armor for them, so let's see if they can get themselves back in.
This is a double off setup on defense now for the guard, so despite them losing these rounds, being 4-1, everything comes back into fruition where they have a very strong defense.
No Zelsies, no. Shouldn't have died from that.
Flashes to go in on the execute for Sentinels.
This is when you kind of like say, thank God we have triple initiator, but it's never good to lose somebody, right? Great job by the guard. Beautiful find by Trent.
दो initiator.
You need to shut
Triple triple initiator comp खेल रहे लोग.
across the map. We're like, all right, wait for this. Takes him down. His guard isn't playing into the hand of Sentinels anymore. They're staying on their own side, hard angles, like double up, like you said. Really, that's the aggression. Here comes Nightfall. Looks like he
And a Nightfall does hit net. You hear the Hunter's Fury coming out on the attack as well. The Hunt also pings and forced to fall back. Couple of pings coming out at least from the Hunter's Fury of Shazam, but still a 5 versus 4, so going through a plant. Nice little shock dart onto Tens to do a little bit of chip damage, but still in the end, it's a plant. Close plant situation now for the guard for the retake. Starting things off quite well with a build of false kill from net. Battle onto mid, and Shazam is lurking back, but the retake back towards the site. Shroud is holding towards the angle and the ladder. That's the first kill at Berlin, but it continues.
Nice one shot, nice one shot, nice one shot. अच्छा खेला बे.
For the guard to make it 2-4 in favor
It was
of
close, but
Oh, the little
retake अच्छा था लोग का.
are hitting here just look like they are winning the round, but the backside there, Jonah P.
Good quality Valorant.
Squad coming together.
Great quality
Valorant. No, just about everybody. The backside of the site when the focus was towards mid, was towards that B archway. So really nice.
Timeout आएगा शायद.
Done there. Guard did suffer.
Guard का timeout.
Economy, so it might be tough for them to get back into a bye. They're going to call timeout.
उधर पे ऑप नहीं होता. क्या बोलते हैं साया प्लेयर के पास. साया प्लेयर नहीं. नेट के पास. नेट खेला था. हाँ, नेट के पास ऑप नहीं होता. तो टेंस नहीं मरता. शायद सेन जीत जाता. बात टेंस का मरने का नहीं है. बात है कि ऑप होने पे डिफेंस थोड़ा स्ट्रांग रहता है.
I don't think they care about that anymore. The winning of the round is really where it ends here. Sometimes you can go at, let's stop them fully from getting in sight, but I think this is going to be a plant and almost retake game for guard coming out because of the way Sentinels is drawing these rounds out and really finding guard's positioning before attack.
Yeah, this is a very interesting moment where the guard is actually calling the timeout when they actually had a beautiful retake going for the team and good methods actually to hold that Breeze map because of the solo on the mid side, getting the Hunter's Fury double up on both ends. Now that you actually lose the Tour de France, will you try to go for a double up again because you haven't shown that hand yet, and they are going for it with net going for the operator this round.
And that again kind of I wouldn't say reaffirms a retake. You want to get a first pick because if all 5 make it in and you're double op retaking, then it gets dicey. Right? You're looking to use the op as a shotgun. It doesn't really work like that for some. Viper's Pit's going to stall out an A hit here to start things off, but again, Sentinels sticking together. They don't really have a lurk with this composition.
Yeah, the positioning is so good if you're looking at this radar from the guard. The offers are walking towards the B main, towards mid. You have the Sova playing towards the back A halls, and then you have the Viper Spin in the front, but you're facing against 3 initiators in the front A site. Now the door gets open, a beautiful flash, but it's still Saya player that lands the first kill on the Dapper. Valen answers back onto the A main too, holding the top. The recon guard comes out, and that's a spike down as well. But we are trading back. It's Shroud and Tens back with a 1-1 of their own. An advantage coming in for the guard as the recon guard comes out trying to flush out Shroud, bringing out Poison Orb, and is getting sprayed at the same time. Tens goes for a plant.
Oh, he gets the frag! Oh my gosh, almost evens it up. It's the operator for Tens. It feels like comfort. It feels like home.
Nice!
One shot on Tens.
Nice!
That's silly. It looks so much better at a 2v1.
Well, now it's Tens, or Trent, should I say, on the clutch. 2 versus 1 does have the Aldron to work with. Who better than Trent?
अभी मेरा पता है मेरे बिल्ली है कि मेरे हाथ में काट रहा है वेबकैम होता तो मैं दिखा देता मजा है बे It's so cute.
The first peek out the headshot for Shroud, but he's still looking back towards the doors. We still have an opportunity here for Tens to move back up. Comes in for the op kill for the mid.
Let's go, guys. That's how they clutch.
By Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. ये सही है Mike Tyson.
The haymaker thrown by the Mike Tyson combo. Oh, that puts him down around for sure.
जो नेट को जो लिया ना ऑफ वर्सेस ऑफ भाई
What
क्या
a reposition as well, because Shroud was in halls, so that's the first reposition. 10
टेंस ने कोई चांस नहीं लिया
hey, so
कोई चांस नहीं लिया
you don't think they're going to go that far
रिस्की
around.
शॉट लेने का ही नहीं था
Play the timing just
एग्जैक्टली
right. Great communication there. Tens with an operator, still Tens with an operator. He's got it in hand now. It becomes dangerous. Let's see if Sentinels can still put these frags on the board. A push from Jonah P here. And guard get a little aggressive again here in round 8.
Yeah. We've seen those plays before from other players where the underhand throw can catch a lot of players off guard towards that B. But again, looking at Sentinels, it's been very slow in the beginning of these rounds. Just playing where you're mentioning before, Red, where they're buying their guns. But look at this push from net and the off angle being held here by Shroud.
अरे Shroud
It was a spicy shot.
कोई नहीं
For Sentinels.
It's still 4v5.
A lot relies on the shoulders of Tens now, right? An opening pick for them is the way to even this up. So far, he looks for a mid push. And again, we saw this sometimes from Sentinels before, where they draw out the rounds.
सेंस का क्या बोलते हैं इस मैच का टोटल वाचिंग कितना है इधर पे जाके देखिए तो 531k still better than major.
See once we get Shazam up here, throw themselves in.
It's actually a great delay. Now the gun also sticks out too, but unfortunately the headhunter does not connect from net. So that's an early 4 versus 4, and because of all this utility, you can still try to make it through by all these flashes. Op shot miss could have been a crucial one, but this allows now Sentinels to get a plant down. The Owl drone trying to re-clear that does tag onto a member of Sentinels, forcing him just to hold back towards bricks. As Zelsis is watching back towards that right side pyramid. We still have great positioning to crossfire for Sentinels, and we're also flooding back. Nice flash from Jonah B, but it's still Shazam that gets these kills. And looking at it so far with those
Save कर रहा है.
from Shazam,
They're saving.
So that is going to be a round coming in for the Sentinels. As you see the economy being sold.
चलो guys, और एक राउंड आ गया in the favor of Sentinels.
Right?
More and more
we saw
rounds,
Dapper
guys.
kind of just run in there.
Be there. I will be back in a second.
Flashes coming in as well. We did see Zelsis throw 0 point back towards the right side to make sure that they kind of deterred anybody on that for defense of the guard. But they walked into that site, pushing the round timer down, putting odds in their favor. The guard wouldn't want to take a fight, be someone to go down and completely throw the map unbalanced. So every member gets on without having Shroud's wall. Like Sentinels are just kind of playing those odds in their favor just enough, even when they're down and around there. And we see Shroud going down, the guard up in a 5v4 round, and they can't convert it again. They've had so much trouble with it.
And the trouble that they had was also during the whole stage of stage 2, which we actually see the guard kind of like drop off those advantages that you had on this So yeah, it continues to be a a lingering factor right now for the guard, at least in this very
Clearing every angle possible.
Looking very good on the executions with this triple initiator, get these plants, starting things off with a Viper's Pit on the left side. Another conversion that starts off early for Trent as he gets the first blood for the team and gets immediately traded out. And now he's trying to go for this flank. He's not really traded out, but at least they've evened up the tally for Sentinels is what I'm trying to get to. And with that, though, with this pit, we're still going to hold very slowly for Sentinels.
God, 9 rounds in and they pulled the trigger. Holy moly, what a fast round from Sentinels. The guard with a great reaction so far and a fast push, but they read Trent. And taking down Vansili. Dapper now looking his neck, searching for another frag after he gets to Vandal.
Celsius with the underhand throw outside of the pit to connect onto Jonah B, and unfortunately Net is going to be by himself now as another one falls for the guard.
Nice! Celsius, nice. Tibet कर ले.
Making it 7-2, and that's to add another one of these Sentinels post.
They're playing so good, guys.
Almost making us think that we're watching.
Dapper is also popping. All of them are playing good, guys. कोई मैच जीतना होगा ना तो सबको इक्वली खेलना होगा. No, they can win. It goes for any team at any rank. हाँ अभी अगर सायरन रैंक में खेला तो अलग बात है, लेकिन जनरल बात कर. Always teamwork works.
So now the guard has to wonder, do we continue to push or are we going to see this death ball right away? It looks like they'll keep this one set back and actually hover towards B this time. They're trying to read what Sentinels would do side to side. And it seems like they're starting to favor A more, especially when 10s will have the fluid force, which they just see the knee of 10s to start this round off.
We're starting things off with an execution. It's going to be fairly quick towards the A-holes. Josie going to take control of the door. And here's that. And he connects onto that kill. Another first blood coming in for the guard. But the tag from the Aljon.
Nice, Zels.
Celsius trades it back. A 4 versus 4 as Sentinels have taken over the A site, but we're fighting back.
Okay, it's 2v3.
3 versus 2. Shroud and Shazam. Plant on the right side of the pyramid, and the wall comes up to allow Shazam to take position inside sight.
Guards just setting up garrisons here at the end. You saw, like you said, under bridge, there were 3 members just ready to take fights. Beautiful coverage and anchoring of each other here, making it tough for Sentinels. Now Shroud and Shazam standing tall. Will they be able to do it? A Saya player connects with Shazam.
This is one for Shroud.
No, anti-shroud, anti.
Not fully blinded by that one, but it's enough to make it a little bit busy for him to watch on his POV. So a nice little 3 versus 1, a conversion that finally.
ये 3v2 था ना, 3v2 पे सही था फिर भी, लेकिन जब वो शैज मर गया उसके बाद तो प्रॉब्लम हो गया.
They average like what 4 on their attacker rounds during the stage 2 group stages and playoffs too. So it's nice to see that it continues.
वो साया प्लेयर के लिए वो पूरा ऐसे स्प्लिट में सजा के दिया शॉट का किल ट्रेंट ने.
Absolutely, and it praise both teams. Guard on Breeze showing a bit of an adaptation, comebacks, reading how Sentinels were playing when they're basically getting hit with everything. So it's good to see the guard as well.
Okay.
Show us a little bit of gusto. 2 more rounds and they'd make this a pretty even matchup here to start off.
No. Stans, you can't pick that.
This one out.
Can't pick that.
There's again your initiator getting that first frag away. Sentinels has played the game before. It's things you don't expect. Just these dry peaks come out here. Never had used a bit of utility there, but it was to clear space and make sure he could take the run.
We tried something new for the guard in terms of push from the chamber, which is now on that B site, punished by Dapper. We potentially could have seen
4 बंदा, 2 बंदा B, 2 बंदा A खेल रहा. Oh, nice angle Trent. गाइस मैं सपोर्ट कर रहा है इसको, लेकिन अप्रिशिएट तो करना बनता है गाइस.
Yeah, you could call him the Jonah P there. That 0 point kind of just slapped Sentinels in the face. Still saw one try to come through, but it did not work. We thought he might be able to outfire Jonah P. Brent, good success with the Hunter's Fury throughout the match. And now they've figured out this kind of this strategy by Sentinels where they go hard or will push or they'll show one thing and just look for utility. Guard doesn't buy it anymore.
And
Really
second,
good read to have this on B and bam, drop Shroud in there.
Don't get tilted, guys, please.
onto the tunnels, but
I'm gonna counting on you guys.
off of that, especially after the underhand throw came out from the poison orb. He already knew here for the guard that we had to commit into the B site. So very well done on that hold for the better half of the guard. That's one of those moments where it looks like it was a very solid hold and not allowing Sentinels to plant finally.
This is the last round, guys. We need this round. It is 8 to चाहिए. 7 ले लिया ठीक है, but at least 8 to चाहिए. Okay, good timeout.
Shut down this Sentinel strategy at least, because a lot of what's happening from Sentinels is they're wide swinging, but their shots are on right now. Clearing the sights we saw in the first few rounds, not using Shroud's wall as you were talking about to keep those angles open. They're now being met with the guard coming online a little bit. Great plays here and the awareness. Really nice break. That's down and angled that ramp. So Sentinels will call a timeout here. What to do on the final round? Will we get another flip the switch? They go super hard. It is going to be an all right round.
All Vandal, हाँ. All Vandal चाहिए actually. क्योंकि थोड़ा फास्ट खेलना हुआ है लोग को. डिफेंस में ऑप कर सकता है टैंस और शैज ऑप नहीं करेगा, इवन दो हिज ऑप इज रियली गुड.
Danny also being picked up as an analyst to help out Rockus, and on top of that, one of our stats guy being Weltis that got poached for clout and joining Sentinels to be the stats guy for Sentinels. So there you see that there's a lot more going into this revamp of the Sentinels just outside of.
लास्ट राउंड सेव था क्या शैज का? उसका 700 क्रेडिट्स माइनस हुआ है और इतना ज़्यादा क्रेडिट किसी और का माइनस तो हुआ नहीं. उसके अवेलेबल क्रेडिट्स भी कम है.
So that's another second voice to help out Shazam into development coming outside of this timeout. And it starts very slow once again though, Riv. We're still trying to prod out the beginning of the round for the Sentinels, and the guard understands that, so they're just staying back to the operators that they have. Double up once again, by the way.
It is very much so. Yeah, just to touch on Zelsis once more. Actually, they're going to be hitting A here, so we'll hold that thought.
Yeah.
0 point comes in to shut down. Yeah, that can grab a huge handful of members. Still seems like they want to encroach, though. They kind of play against what you think would happen. Oh, we slowed them down. No, they're trying to come in. Saya player reads it. There's the first one and almost two.
Trent's back there, too, to fight back against Zelsis. Another headshot onto Dapper. Spike is now down in front of the A site. Jonah P under attack at the staircase as Trent is down to 18 HP. Beautiful recon guard allowing Jonah P to get that kill, leaving Shroud by his lonesome, and that's Trent.
Trent playing really good, guys.
Into the round to end the half, 7-5. It started off well for the Sentinels, but now we actually have our game in our hands. It's time to go for a break because we want to come back for more action after this.
आज लिटरली सब वॉच पार्टी कर रहे हैं. ओके, शॉर्ट का बीवी वो कर रहे हैं.
Nervous? Yeah. Me too. But they're still up.
1 minute 18 seconds.
Welcome back here, Valorant fans, as we started things off in this series with a couple of questions, and yes, it looks good on the agent changes that we currently have from Sentinels. Yes, we're playing Comfort Pit for the guard, but at least we came out swinging, and we have a close game to kick off the second half.
I'm so glad guard was able to come back with 5 there. Sentinels were looking strong. Guard battled through the economy, battled through their own demons. And we have a game on our hands. That's all we wanted to start off this series, to start off the LCQ, especially with Sentinels and the guard. And yeah, very big shot to Dapper to start, run initiator down. And this is big. One of the win conditions we came into this tournament with was that guard converts their 5v4s.
Yeah.
There's the second best team right now in LCQ of being able to achieve this, but the conversion rate is not as good.
So we have a nice flash, shock dart combo. So you see that that's coming out here for Sentinels as well, using a little bit of that utility to try to retake towards the A site. Now with a 0 point. Recon in the back, we know one is playing towards bricks. Another flash available for Zelsis, goes for that underhand. Comes back through. Fully blinded is going to be Trent, and thankfully he was fully blinded. But that Zelsis still on his own. Connects onto another kill onto Net, but we're swinging through as he's reloading. And that's a perfect pistol round coming in here for the guard.
Big 2. Pistol rounds, 1 apiece right now between these two teams. And
Queenie guys, Queenie.
Up their first one, so the guard answers back. They'll get a bonus. They should be able to tie it up here. See if Sentinels get anything funky for a defensive strategies. It looks like mid will be how guard kind of spreads this one out just a little bit. Spikes down to start this round off. So they're actually maybe considering Sentinels will get a push onto this round here. Extremities are covered. You can see on the left side, Net's getting ready to focus on the window and push. It's covered and so else.
What I'm really liking so far as we have this eco from Sentinels is just to actually shine a little bit of light onto like these players that we think and we talk about having less experience with the guard. We already saw it in that preview of this matchup where Fallon's talking about, I'm playing against one of my almost idols here in the attack FPS scene, being Shroud. Net is also very young coming into the scene, and when we've also criticized Net on his chamber plays.
Okay, Tans is holding solo B. No one is watching mid, guys. This is kind of creepy.
Not letting like the name and the numbers and the viewers affect his playstyle to be like, I'm going to confidently push down, get the information for my team, and on top of that, getting these kills.
Yeah, you got to know you're better than everybody else in the server. It's just a feeling you have to exude. So a little bit of a fake arrow towards A. Don't get a ping, but they know somebody's close enough to shoot it. So that would kind of tell, especially where the shot was from, kind of tells the deepness of Sentinel's defense at this time. The round getting drawn out once again.
Nice.
Have a B hit, and it's 1 for 1.
Chalo, koi nahi.
Quick kill, but that's a stack coming in for Sentinels on the A side, so I don't think that Tens expected the flood coming in from the guard into this B side. Good for that kill, and now it's trying to figure out if they can catch the guard off positions. And that's 2 players moving out towards the snake, towards that tunnel.
कोई किसी के पास नहीं ये वाला नहीं होगा क्योंकि रीजन में बोल रहा किसी के पास शेरिफ नहीं है and without sheriff fighting this kind of gunfight is impossible unless they were too close कि rightly काम कर ले ये वाला नहीं होगा round obviously बात है
little we can do anything you can do situation here to start off our first few rounds, and that's going to be some nice damage. Not losing too much with just a head puncher there, and Fallon picks up a few good friends.
Close in, do the damage, do as much as you can. Can you get a third into the round? Not going to work out, and just like
चलो दो बंदा तो गया
7-7 scoreline, and we kind of invested a little bit into the guard, right? They had 3 Bulldogs going to that previous round and kept those Bulldogs alive into this round here, so it could still be a heavy fire round with, it looked like Cyplay was going to go for another Bulldog trying to keep the Econ at some point even, but he decides to go for the Vandal instead. On the other end, though, big test for Sentinels if they have to play the defense on a triple initiator here, and see if this is going to work out in their favor.
So instant walls being put up right away. So this allows you to feel out the map. You've already put something on the plate of Sentinels on defense. The guard can decide to play around that. It does seem like Trent feels comfortable in halls. It's the second time we've seen him extremity there. as they start to work mid. So now guard. This did not happen for Sentinels. I don't think we ever saw Sentinels work mid once. So guard here trying to pressure themselves.
Yeah, if anything, it was only a late lurk, but here comes that split in. A couple of flashes coming out on defense, but it's still Shroud trying to hold his ground now, gets pinged out. But he does.
Oh, nice!
A headshot onto Saya player.
Nice.
Gets traded out. A 2 versus 2. Celsius battling at 35 HP at the staircase of the A site. Spike is now moving in, looking for a plant, and it will be successful now, courtesy of Valen. While Net is rotating all the way back towards cave. The spike planet for both of these players as we're retreating back towards the cave with the toxic screen about to come down. Oh no!
Peeking! Peeking!
No, I didn't like that. I did not like that at all. Out caught in position, out of position rather, as maybe it was a miscommunication. Valen should have called it out potentially here that the wall was coming down and Net got caught with his pants down. Thankfully, Valen could play the pulse lineup. ADS onto tens, a 2 versus 1, but it's still going to be Zelsis that answers back. That 13 HP remaining will get the defuse, and that's Sentinels, but an expensive round.
चलो आ गया.
Oh,
Nice on Zelsis.
Just at the last moment, I thought they were timing the gas well. Maybe didn't call it. It was going down.
टीबे करने जा रहा है शायद.
Stayed out. I thought he might. Well, he's like, all right, you missed, I missed. Let's keep fighting. Sometimes you make that decision, and it did not pay off.
Yeah.
Honestly, that looked like the guards round with Sentinels having to come in, wall up as well as they pass through.
वो सही था लेकिन शॉर्ट ने उसको वॉल बैंक किया उसके बाद इंस्टेंट वो फ्लिक किया.
Actually stopped there, and then we see now. The reason I mention that is the difference in how we're seeing these teams already play the map. We see that guard wants to work mid a bit. It may still happen. We'll see if Sentinels react to that mid pressure. Already looking for towards elbow for Sentinels.
The console for Sentinels, who would try to go for something explosive on the mid. And we do have the defenders retreating back for a bit, controlling more towards elbow. Play close range here with the Spectres that we currently have on Bulldog and Guardian. Mind you, again, this is a round that Sentinels won previously. Their economy is fully broken versus what the guard has to offer this round.
Hence Guardian long range down that B ball. He's ready for someone to beat with Han over the top. So they've cleared everything left extremity. They can play defense on A now. Sentinels has done a pretty great job. But they Vipers pit A.
Yeah,
see how they play off it.
B. This is where Tens is moving forward. They heard him, but he's still ADS is down. Body shots onto Net. Dapper looking for info with the Prowler towards mid, and they still hear the footsteps. Tens trying to retreat if he can, and can still pull out the Headhunter if anything. The first swing out, but it's still going to be Trent that wins that first duel against the defender on the B side. Slightly open for now. Recon Dart to try to answer back. Also the null command coming out here on the defense from Celsius, but Trent still drops. Now in the back of the site, Celsius with the Vandal. Underhand throw, looking to peek back towards the ladder, and he does spot a few.
Nice Shroud.
Support from Charlotte coming out from McDonald's, while Dapper's moving in on tunnels, and they are closing in on the guard, leaving Saya player, that Guardian by himself on the attack. It's just going to slow down for maybe 16 seconds left on the clock. Nice flick.
Okay, that was kind of
Dapper.
close.
Look to go for a free-fire shot into the corner, but a nice high-low for Sentinels just to stop the bleeding, and that's Sentinels with 2 rounds in a row.
Nice flick from Saya player. I should admire that. Everyone should admire that. This one was good.
Like a scattered by both teams, which means it's a round where if you go to the throat of your opponent and you're able to take them out like Sentinels did, it becomes so hard economy-wise. What a push down towards B, and you called it. That fake ran right into the rotation of Sentinels. Guard was not expecting that to happen this early in the game from the Sentinels defensive side. As we saw, they're down to Marshals and Sheriffs now, and Sentinels pull away by 2.
Quick here to start things off on the defense, underhand throw. We also have the Total Plus looking back towards the A main. Tap on the door. The battle.
Nice Tens.
Connection onto Trent with that leads. Zelsis on his own decides to fall back. Playing the numbers.
No one wants to play. You can just go.
Valen has lurked through the A ball. A cap. Should I say that caught Zelsis off guard? So that's a great way to get the kill, activate the Blade Store, and make it a 4 versus 4 while we still have the Toxic Screen up and available for the attack of the card.
That's 2 activated in this round. You talk about the orb touch with the shop. That was Nets 2 to force up. Now they have 2 priority ultimates in that Blade Storm tour. Definitely could play this a lot slower. A little more pressure on Net here. You can see Saya ready to answer on the anchor of these plays. And it's just a 1-2-3 across the map for Sentinel's defense here. They're playing for the retake. They know they're against big alts. There's no reason to try to play them.
Trent being down, it's only going to be the 0 point and try to clear it for a bit. You choose to look back towards the ladder, so that allows Dapper to swing out. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out in their favor with that flash. That is going to be the card. Making it a 4 versus 3. Still at least looking to get a plant down for the economy into the next round. Net, though, answers back onto Shazam. It's a 3 versus 3 somehow, as Dapper is still stuck in the back of the site, looking to get pushed in, looking at the wall bank shots, and Dapper is looking for that swing. It's a close-range battle against Valen, who's just around the corner, and as he goes for that swing, it's 2 players looking in that area, forcing out at least a retake from the Nightfall.
Nice.
Still stays alive for a
Nice.
bit, but only for a bit. Dapper answers back, and he was the solo anchor into the site and also stays alive this whole time. That was pretty good.
Oh my, yeah, exactly. Like I said, they wanted to play the retake, and that takes so much discipline. Like, Dapper played that ridiculously well. It's so easy to say, oh, I'm getting creeped, I'm getting pressure, but he
Okay.
found a way to
इधर पे
stay
ट्रेंड
safe,
पॉप ऑफ कर रहा है, इधर पे
knowing when
Zelsis.
to play the
Okay.
kill. And like you said, long enough to secure a Nightfall in this situation, which is ridiculous. So he was the only one that could really allow those ultimates to be broken through the site. He got those 2 frags, like literally Moon's aligning their guard, trying their best, but could not make the round happen with Fear to Force of Blade Storm. And that's a round now pulling away again for Sentinels, and they don't have to worry about those ultimates for quite a while. There's a Viper's Pit to start things off at A for Sentinels. That means they can focus a little bit toward B here. See the initiators of Fate and KO ready to come back if necessary, but right out the gate.
3 players pushing up towards the mid doors for the guard. Easy trade against Shroud, and the player advantage also on the attack. Plant coming down to the pulse plant at the default spot once again, where they can play the pulse plant lineup. So you currently see Trent moving all the way back. Valen still has his 2 snake bites, and as he actually brings back up that fuel, allows the wall to come back up, and now they retreat back into the A cave. And this is such a strong position. I mean, you still have net towards mid. You have an alarm bot looking back towards that flank. This is just going to be looking to be one off simple utility from the guard. Let's see if we can actually get the retake from Sentinels.
I wonder what his countdown is. We might be able to actually get this to a fast beat. They're going to have to force defuse it. Here comes the ultimates. They're trying to flick across. Velen takes down Zelsis. Great organization in the ultimates here. Sentinels knows they can't go for it, are forced to back off. So still, even after losing pivotal ultimates to the side of guard, they're still finding ways here to make sure they can get themselves around. That was big to be able to knock down Sentinels on that round.
Yeah, guard have been looking pretty good here on the win that are taking up here towards the A site to play the pulse plant, because a lot of these times Velen gets a plant and still stays alive too on the pulse plant. There's been some situations, of course, where using his players back on the pulse plant from the cave where he has to try to clutch it, but overall the initial strategy of the guard trying to get into A for the plant seems to be seamless because you still have like what, 3-4 players making it to site on that plant.
Back towards A, possibly. So they've set up this wall the majority of the time. You can see it being, the gas roll being popped back and forth as Null Command comes out. Quick sight take here, and they feel like they should scale into sight. Like round 1 here, but with ultimates, makes it a little easier, unless Dapper does that.
Did have a tag coming out onto Shroud in the back of yellow. Owl drone coming out from Shazam. Shot guards trying to come through. And that's going to be a little bit of a combo. Oh, that could have killed Jonah P. He's down at 2 HP. And finally, kill confirmed by Shazam. But alert coming back towards mid from Trent. And he can come up to us right now. It's a 5 versus 2. We are watching that flank, but it's Net and Trent. 2 youngsters right now in the roster making it work, at least for now. Trent on his lonesome. And it does not connect there, unfortunately, on that duel. We actually did have a crossfire set up no matter what. He was fighting against Shazam. He had Zelsis on the other end and 1 going on a defuse. And that's Sentinels at 11.
Triple initiator retakes are gross. Like, they are going so quick. And I talked about it a bit before. We saw that it was Zelsis and Dapper playing over towards B. And they've switched up. You can actually see Shroud headed that way now with the way they play it. But just imagine if they go A, you have, even if you lose one of your initiators, you have 2 to still retake. Like, your retake is immensely powerful. And then if they go B, we already saw it, Dapper backs up. So does Zelsis. They can delay. They still have initiator retake potential. Retake, I don't know if we said that enough. It felt like a broken record when we first saw Sentinel playing, right? Yeah. They would move across the defensive side of the map and retake everything, even if you had 5 on the side. And with the triple initiator, it seems to fit way more into their wheelhouse because they can wait a bit longer. They can get into position, and they can make sure that even if you have ultimates, it doesn't really matter. Guard are going to call a timeout and figure out how to thwart this, how to say, okay, maybe if we all turn our monitors off while we're getting flashed, it won't count, right? But even then, we saw Shazam coming through with the sonar bolts. We saw double kills through the walls at B. We've seen them kills through smoke, so it's almost impossible to get away. And on that last round, the spike went down during the plant, which gave Sentinels even more time to swarm the site, and we saw Guard kind of scrambling, so they seem to be just a step ahead here on the rounds. And Guard, when they do win, are taking a lot of damage in those fights. Round 20 here, Vans.
Really important here. We actually had a buy coming out from Valiant onto Trent, or sorry, for Saya players, so you now know and see that the economy is very low for the Guard. A crucial round for them to win, and also banking on the fact that they need Valiant to get the plants to pull out the poison, or should I say the Viper's Pit. That said, they were able to do that on these splits towards the A site. This round, looking to focus a lot of players on mid control, even abandoning game.
Guard have had good success through this doorway. So you can see him touching it again, saying, all right, let's get the rotation now. No bite, though. Sentinels staying very controlled on their angles. Just a little bit of a lean now from the defensive spawn area.
Dapper's going to have to come up huge at the pillar of the B side. Smoke dissipates. Could have lined up too, but that's an easy trade back. Viper's Spin is available, but it's stopped by Shazam just by the archers in the back of the B side. Spike is also down, but Shazam on his
Crispy. Oh, anti-day.
Now there's no information from the Guard where the last two players are, except meeting with that 0 point that just came out. Communications coming back towards mid.
Nice little two-pronged attack here coming in from the side of the Guard. We saw kind of what the cloud burst over a gas wall provides you. Kind of bit of the butt for a second as that wall's over towards A, but this 2v2 is tight. The Sentinels look to put themselves in the 20. Not gonna happen.
By Jonah P. One of those moments where, you know, there was that miscom that came out.
श्राउड को शायद बात करना चाहिए था, लेकिन नहीं. पैपर बॉल किसका था?
And 2 easy kills for Jonah P with an aggressive push-up. I like that, and the Guard stays alive so far in this game.
I'll look this way. You look this way? Look this way?
Yeah. Just too many angles. Too many angles.
There's too many. Get the protractor. Dapper, Zelsis, Shazam, all ready to fire out ultimates here to make sure this round doesn't go in favor of the Guard. Let's see how many they use. Valen, are they going to try to crash onto a site and get this Viper's Pit down? Again, these rounds where the spike is down, okay, it gets picked up. Usually we see the Guard play very slow if that spike is down, but they grab it right away to hold elbow. A little bit of a crossfire here to help each other out. Double push and halls. Like this.
Yeah.
Sentinels are trying to put things in place. They haven't gotten any pushes though, so the Guard have not been read in this strategy. They could still crash onto the site and slam that Viper's Pit down.
That's exactly it. You want to use that toxic screen maybe as a conditioning, as a fake, because you have a Viper's Pit that's available.
Always.
So you can still use a lot of utility from your 2 initiators. From the recon guard, probably the reset coming back from Trent. This kill also is going to go to tell that the hits towards that B site, but it allows you to get in with utility and get the plant down. But Dapper was looking to get ready to go for a nightfall, but decides to save it into the later rounds because they are also on a lower buy. So this also allows the Guard to get an easier sight inside B, with the exception now of a flank coming in from Celsius with that Vandal from the jump.
Gonna hold it. Like it. Being efficient with the ultimates on this round. Penn's coming in with the headhunter to try and get a little bit more. So Guard actually have found quite a bit of success here going towards middle. As you said before, the wall towards A. We're gonna hold on that.
Yeah, let's hold for a bit. We got the highlight reels coming out from 10. Celsius actually makes it a little bit more expensive for the Guard this round, but is actually potentially going for this. Off the kill, try to make it expensive for a bit. I mean, he will be able to buy into the next round. Trent takes him down, but yeah, that was actually a really good.
I can love tense moment.
Right. It's like I said before, when Guard do win, man, they take a lot of damage in the fights. It makes it so tough to string these rounds together. You're under so much pressure. You don't have as much confidence.
But Guard is catching up, guys. Send it to. Hold it tight.
Of a negative result if you do go down, right? You can't just buy next round. It's not that kind of game for Guard right now. So the ultimates are about to just flash here as we get towards the end of our first map. What a game to start off NALC. Guarding Sentinel. Oh, baby. It's still going too. First map, Breeze. Never thought this would be in the mix here, but guard wants to avoid Haven. The other maps just get him out. Whereas Halls is going to be the play here.
Tides have turned in terms of the economy for Sentinels. A crucial round for them to win. If they win this round and lose a lot of players, they're still going to be on full economy at that point. That's a great way to start things off. Shazam, ADSing headshot to net. We're trying to answer back from the Halls. The underhand throw. Shazam tries to fight back, but P at least got control of the door. That forces out the null command, and Valen gets the entry off the Shroud. Meanwhile, though, as the door opens, that's already going to be the ult down, but it's going to be a camera for the players on the guard trying to get this plant into A. Still, the Viper's Pit available. Null command
coming out
on the defense, so that's going to delay things just for a bit. And there you go, the pit finally comes out. Trent still has the Aladrone. Hunter's Fury to come out as well on the retake from Shazam. And it's Zelsa, Shazam, and Tens looking for the retake, but they have to retake with an off on top of that. So this is good positioning, at least for Valen inside the pit. As the wall comes down, coming in. Oh, the close range trying to get that shot. Lurking around the Viper's Pit, leaving Trent on his own. The swing out, and unfortunately, as Zelsis comes down towards that ramp, Trent was looking at the wrong angle. And that's going to be the defuse coming down for Sentinels at map point. But, Riv, we talked about how expensive this round could have been. Still, there's an opportunity for the guard with the economy and that plant that they just got.
Bit of money, like you said, coming back into their favor. Again, we see Sentinels using this triple initiator comp. You basically negate the space where guard could be standing in that Viper's Pit, right? Whether you have Shazams, whether you have a C's,
Credits नहीं look के पास.
a flash going in to know you have the upper hand.
हो गया.
Close enough to that. They almost knew where they were going to find their fight. Even though they took a few casualties of their own on the side of Sentinels. Game point here as we come into round 23 for Sentinels. Looks like they'll hold off a regular 3-2 defense actually on that side. A bit of an extremity play coming in from guard.
In the beginning of this round, you had so much juggle going on what kind of bar we're going to have for Sentinels. And now you look at the overlay, they don't have that much utility to work with if you're looking at what's still available. Yeah, it's going to be very tough right now. We're seeing the guard trying to split back into this A site.
Push coming in. Zelsis could have their backs real quick, but guard make quick work of everything that's in A. Is Zelsis too late, or is he just in time?
Blade Storm now down, Spike now planted. Zelsis looking towards the back end of the cave. Tens looking for the high ground. But here's that flash to the door. That spots Tens, but Jonah P still manages to escape. This still gives him good positioning on the pulse spot now for the guard. And even Sentinels, look at that. On a 5 or 4 versus 3 rather. Might play it a little bit more passively. Might try to save unless they get this kill, and they do. So that opens up the mid doors. There's that knife that's going to ping 2 players out of the 3 remaining inside the site as well. So you will commit for this. The recon dart to come out, the toxic screen as well. Molly in the front from the fragment of Zelsis. And we're straight to the wall. Put the timing on that one. Trent allowing to get 2 kills out of that. And that is going to be the guard holding the plant after all. We're 1 round away of seeing overtime.
No, guys. No.
Again, mid becomes this opening, this place where guard can encroach into Sentinel's defense, be a thorn in their side. The initiators want to stop you at like a forward choke point and then be able to play their angles, right? When we see Zelsis now trying to play 2 sides of the pyramid because there's cave and doors, that doesn't start to work as well because of how far back we actually have the rest of Sentinels playing, right? Shroud's not going to be able to do too much. He can put up a smoke, right? But that's not going to stop guard from flooding in.
Yeah.
They're already in, and Zelsis needs a little more help there. So guard have found a really great way to be in the middle of the initiator comp to start instead of allowing Sentinels a time in position.
And even then, like, there's not much Shroud could do when Net goes in and enters that way with the Vandal running up mid. When you already had the cross-door placement by one of the greats being Shroud in the attack FPS world when it comes down to crosshair placement. And it was actually quite interesting looking at that previous round because, yes, we were able to save an operator for Sentinels in that on the last round for Tens. And they didn't decide to go for a double op setup. They actually went for a Tens. Let's just keep that operator, go for a full buy. And this results now playing a dual defense and a much lower buy in round 24. Last round of regulation where the guard has everything in their favor to force the overtime.
Trent's been pretty spicy with that ultimate, at least a few tags, and maybe even some frags for him. They didn't put the wall up.
That's right.
Did not put the wall up at A this round. So we'll have to see what happens where guard goes, where they decide to use it, if they still fake it late. The push tens wants first blood.
What?
That is a huge first blood for the guard, and that opens up the B side as well. We have another player looking around, but just heard that shot, and that was Dapper looking for that flank here on elbow. As the Toxic screen's about to come down, he's looking for the window flank. All command coming out here.
This would be incredibly impressive.
It would be impossible. Very doable if we actually have a huge flank. Oh, the wall comes up on the timing on defense. And Dapper's position's now given away with 2 players playing under the window. You're going to have to flick hard, but it doesn't work out. He had utility in his hands, and we're looking closer and closer for the overtime. Shroud with the Marshall. Zels is down, and Shazam with the Bulldog, but the Rez comes out, forcing out the Hunter's Fury to tag onto one. Oh! The double kill with the Hunter's Fury, leaving only 1 player alive. That Zels is with that Spectre, spotted in the front of the B site, and we will be going into overtime. A Saya player gets that last kill.
Oh, Sentinels meet the guard as they stand. Oh my gosh. Overtime for this game, all ready to start in our best of 3. We still have we still have Icebox to go, but that doesn't matter right now. Standing tall. The economy being low here for Sentinels completely separated what we've been seeing them do every round, right? The reason I said that would be almost impossible is because everyone then had to make 1v1 plays instead of the utility being for the team, right? Dapper wasn't with Celsius, it was with Shroud. Shazam was by himself, so the communication may have still been there from long-range utility, but it wasn't over the shoulder, it wasn't anchor fights. That was just Sentinels getting caught out because they were forced into a low buy. That's the kind of game guard provided themselves getting into that last round. They've worked hard for it. Sentinels 2 at 12. Now, like you said, first round of OT here. Doesn't look like too much of a commitment on either side as Sentinels keep a 2-1-2 on defense. Sorry, guard on defense as we swap.
Don't, Tans, don't. Don't pick him.
Do have a lurker. Dapper is away from the team.
Great observation on that one. Dapper's already looking back on the left side of the pillar. We try to catch a rotation as the rest are trying to actually flush net out of position. Look at that. He gets pinged by a drone. He's not switching his position. He's just staying in anchored up on the left side pyramid. The owl drone to support him on the top of the bridge from Trent. Now this is a stalemate. You're going to have to wait for the next recycle of utility to allow Sentinels to go for a hit. And Silent Player's about to walk down. This could be a big kill right now from Dapper.
Timing there.
Potentially. Well, now he clears it. He's watching it, but Dapper still wins it. On to look up. Push down from Valen. And he wins it on that 4 versus 4. He gets pinged out, but it's still the rest of Sentinels going for that explosive hit now as you have the Toxic Screen coming up towards it.
I wonder how much guard actually think this is a fake. Sentinels didn't do any of that in the first half when they were playing on their attack. And they are going to do a little bit of that. Just scale into A when the wall's up. Take the fights, be behind each other, give somebody a family photo if they decide to peek. And they are there to back each other up.
1 0-point spots all 4 players. That is going to be the spike down going at least for the Sentinels as they lose Zelsis in the process. The retakes coming out from the guard. Everybody can look towards the front of the site here for Sentinels. And all of this time we had the Toxic Screen still available for Valen. So now we go for that retake and we all fall for the Sentinels. And somehow the guard take the lead on the first map on their permaban being breezed.
Incredible teamwork there. You see how tight-knit both teams are moving right now. They know how each other are going to attack and play. If there's a wide swing, there's more to follow. Everybody's tethered to each other right now. This game is requiring a lot of communication from both teams there. We saw the walls actually go perpendicular there to divide what could be coming from...
Zelsis is doing good, but
the
rest of the team needs to catch up.
Right through the pyramids. Sentinels was ready. Waiting. I would say ready. They were waiting for that first one. Let's see what guard has now for attack. Sentinels onto the defense, setting up their own 2-1-2. Looks like they would diversify how kind of those were set up. We saw a lot of the times Zelsis with Dapper. Now the initiators have been
Prowler and a 0-point on elbow, putting a lot of information or trying to gather information on the mid front B from Sentinels and stacking players more towards the A site. but the guard are pulling a trick out of Sentinel's hat. Staying towards spawn, playing it passively, waiting for the next utility to come out to try to find information, maybe try to sell the false information that Sentinels could be getting from their utility and look for the late hit.
It's just tripping. It's gonna break the silence. Put the Prowler out. So they at least know where Dapper might be lurking and playing. And that's kind of Dapper's style. They know Dapper may actually just be on a bit of a sentry mission. Figure out what's going on.
Wall up, Alotron. This is a fake right now on the A side to hit towards B. We hear the footsteps. 10 is on the top. They don't clear it on the top here for the guard, but no hits, no kills. 10, or should I say net at 1 HP, finally gets dropped. Now it's a 4 versus 4. Knife actually pings him out, and we have an recon guard actually that pings out Saya player. But Valen is watching towards the front of the B site. It's a 4 versus 3. Tenz is trying to go for the hero play to at least narrow down the numbers on the retake, but we still have Zelsis. The flash in the back of the site. Saya player is also holding that angle. The peek out. Zelsis wins that fight. And now here comes Trent on the lurk, back towards tunnel. The 0 point coming out on defense as we have suppression coming in. Jonah falls, but Trent moves forward. The first headshot to Shroud, the recon guard to come out too, and Valen is still holding towards that window. So we have to go for the quick kill, and it works out for Shazam. Now Valen has to go for the jiggle back.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Saves it in now for the Sentinels.
Nice save. Nice save.
Double overtime on Breeze.
Oh my word. Okay, Tyson, that got a little scary there for Sentinels fans. You saw Tyson dive into a crowd of attackers, but that initiator composition just coming through. And Shazam, hello? His aim has been crispy this game. When we are on him, he is clicking heads, and he actually had a read on where every flank was coming from, like he was in the guard's head on that attack. That's what you need to keep the rounds going here. Sentinels do just that, and we're going to get an operator here as the buy comes out from net, so they can get that gun onto these hard angles and bolts here. That will be focused over towards Cave. It looks like it's another split round-ish from Sentinels. We did not see a lot of this again in the first half. They're starting to distribute the way they played his strategy to get guard messed up, because all Sentinels really did was either hit fast, never play mid, or go right down to 10 seconds.
The Saya player is trying to do the same thing as Hens did on the B site. The Allen jump for the ping, but this is only one of those same things once again. But Zelsis gets the opener. We actually do hear that talk of flank, but Balance in the back of the site connects onto one, but cannot get the readjustment onto Shroud. There's Frank coming down.
भाई मेरा बिल इतना चिल्ला रहा है.
That's going to be a big audio cue. Dapper staying on the top of mid. Net is looking for it from the top of Ness. That's a great pick. And another late lurk coming out from elbow. Tenz is going to hear the rotation from Jonah B. Connects onto that kill, and we know the second one's moving towards tunnel. Shroud is playing the pulse plant. That's one of the things we like to see, yeah. I mean, Shroud, we talked about it before. One of those players that's coming in. As we do have the shots landing on a 1 versus 1, and it is halfway. We're forcing out the ping. The wall bank coming out.
Nice Shroud, nice.
Who better than Shroud to win that round on that 1 versus 1 against Net, putting Sentinels back.
Nice. That was a great pick against operator.
I feel like everybody's sitting there sweating like, fire it, Molly! Oh my God, fire it! It's like, what do you mean? Not even close.
I got this. Years of experience in the attack FPS scene. I got this, boys. But that's one of the things that's cool here, Riv. We talked about Shroud being one of the latest additions, of course, with Zelsis into this roster, and we wanted to know if he actually knew the lineups, if he was going to be able to play Viper, because even as a joke he said, or even as in his interview he said, oh, there's potential where I won't play a Viper and maybe let Dapper play it, but he's growing into this role quite well.
Nice cold lineups. Makes you think you got it. Nice clutch, nice play. Sentinel pull the lead back in their favor here. Their pick of Breeze. Elbow play going to come in out from the side of the guard. Spike is still down towards AK. Yeah. Zed shot. So if they actually decide to go towards A, they can still do that. Wall hasn't been used. As per usual, they would fire towards A pyramids. They still have a chance.
2 to 3 guys lurking mid and elbow of B. One guy holding mid of B. One guy. Nice one, Tenz.
Tenz does get the first kill, at least onto tunnel. But this could still be a rotate back towards the A site. yes, you'll let them in. Maybe that's going to be the play here for Sentinels because you just want Zelsis to play the Pulse plan and just catch the players off guard, especially after that owl drone. That's the easy kill. Much better down. Knife towards the front door. I actually missed it. He threw the knife onto the body of Trent. I love it.
Well, he was making sure nobody else was to his left.
Nice shroud with 3K. Nice.
He comes out
Woo!
with 3K. The flawless to end the round. You gotta be kidding me.
ये reaction तो देखना पड़ेगा guys.
Like literally, I can't even take the amount of gigabytes going through my computer right now.
Fuck it, babe. No. What is this? So much ad, guys. Just fucking ads everywhere.
It's actually impressive how good they are at acting. It looks real.
Each team is giving each other so many things to have to adapt and think about within the games. I can't wait to get to Ascent, so let's shut up.
Yeah, I was ready to go for a little bit of a podcast before because I thought the guard was going to be able to make it in and at least go for the plan.
Red Bull Campus Clutch is back. Assemble your team and lead it to the World Final. Learn more on RedBullCampusClutch.com.
One minute 20 seconds का break, guys. Okay. आज बहुत लोग ट्यून इन किया वैसे. लाइक्स तो बहुत हो गया गाइस आज. One of our highest likes ever. Thank you for all the support, guys.
He just keeps clicking it away, and somehow it just works.
V2, 10s, reposition.
Oh, everyone, and he spams that! The Red Bull clutch! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We just watched Sentinels do something that we haven't seen them do in quite some time. They win a map. They won map 1.
Nice roast from the casters, guys. They're trolling Sentinels.
They absolutely do. Got the same amount of maps.
Yeah, Sentinel deserves a troll because they lost so many easy maps earlier for whatever reason.
Been begging to see more of for a long time, so the practices come in.
They're literally the number 1 team in North America, and now they're nowhere in the top 10. So you can guess how much they fell down from the throne they achieved in the first try.
A well put together squad. This is the Sentinels we've been waiting for, and we finally got it.
One of the things we loved about Sentinels from this first map, though, was the initiator utility. They're finally actually using it the way that it was intended to be used by the game's developers. It felt like in the past it was so clunky, but now Mimi, they're making it work quite well.
Yeah, and that's the biggest part of this composition being so well put together. They pull out the triple initiator. Not a lot of teams run that on Breeze. I think it's kind of for a reason, because you can get a little bit more value out of other agents. But the way they played this comp was actually really good. Quite a few good rounds here where you're combining a KO flash with the Haunt coming in towards the backlines, with a Silver Dart on top of that. The information and the way they played off of it was very unlike what we've seen previously from Sentinels. This team was very much defined by kind of throwing out utility or using the multiple pieces of utility to clear the same angle. This time the coordination was well put together. They implemented this composition really well, and it shut down key players on guard like Saya player.
Yeah, and specifically because they had like so many different like pieces of utility, they're able to use KO mollies usually to push guard players into corners where they're like forced to, like that backside B play. You have a KO molly that stops anyone from swinging out from backside. They're tucked into that backside corner, and then there's an eyeball, a dart that enables that double spam to come through for a couple of kills. So it wasn't just like, let's throw everything out. It was very well put together side hits that didn't allow you anywhere to hide on the backside.
And I think despite the fact that they didn't really have a great agent to combine with the Fade utilities, they still did a good job at using that Fade util. I think the Cats threw Viper Walls to stop people from swinging with the KO flag.
Yeah.
The Seizes in backside. Even if you don't have something to follow up, it stops re-aggression, gives you time to play, gives you time to react, and well, they won out in partial as a result.
One of the agents you were just talking about, KO, as well, ended up being pivotal for them, as it was Zelsis who was in that position. A lot of eyes coming into this game were going to be on Shroud, naturally, but then we were saying, keep your eyes on Zelsis, because Zelsis was playing so well coming into the switch to the new team, and things have only just improved. I mean, you can see the numbers here. They speak for themselves. As the KO, he was definitely leading the charge.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the gunplay working out for him, but specifically how he was able to work in the utility west with the rest of the team was really, really nice. I think we saw multiple moments where he was able to shine specifically because of good team coordination, and that is just a pleasure to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Zelsis actually परफॉर्म किया आज. हम लोग अगर वो देखें क्या बोलते हैं उसको. Okay, GG bets पे क्या चल रहा है? What are the odds? 2.77 पे भाई सही है. लोगों को अभी सेंटेंस पे विश्वास ही नहीं है. तो इसके वॉल्यूम थोड़ा कम कर देते हैं. Okay, the guard versus the sentinels. जब पे जाए तो देखेंगे. Zelsis 29. Okay. हेडशॉट 33%. टेंस का भाई बहुत मिस हो. एक्चुअली वो ऑफ भी किया ना, उसके लिए उसका बॉडी पे गया शॉट्स. ओके, वो मैटर नहीं करना. 19 kills, but still okay. What is this cast? KAST? I have no idea actually. नया कुछ आया. ओके शो किया था मुझे भाई, मैं बैक क्यों कर दिया रुको. आई नीड टू एक्सप्लेन दैट शिट. जस्ट अ सेकंड गाइस. किल असिस्ट ट्रेड सर्वाइव परसेंटेज. ओके उसका परसेंटेज कितना है? किल असिस्ट ट्रेड और सर्वाइव. ये तो एवरेज डैमेज पर राउंड. हाँ, फर्स्ट किल शायद. हाँ, डेपर इट्स एक्चुअली प्लेइंग रियली वेल, क्योंकि अगर उसका देखिए, उसका फर्स्ट किल इट्स रियली गुड. 5 being an initiator, even though they don't have any duelist, but still. कोई नहीं guys, it's really good. ये लोग क्या spam कर रहे हैं बेटा? I'm a short fan. If there are 10 million short fans, I'm one of them. If there are thousands of short fans, if I'm one of them. If there are 10,000 short fans, I'm one of them. If there is only one short fan, I'm one of them. If there are no short fans, I'm dead. I worship short because I love short. Okay, nice. लोग अभी ये लोग के spam चल रहा है. Okay, और क्या चल रहा है? रुको मैं देखता हूँ. Tyson Tans NJ was one of the youngest players in CSGO community. He joined C9 as a player for the CSGO team in October 2009, moved to a full-time streaming and became Cloud9's first Valorant player. Alright. ये इंडियन कुछ है आज देखो क्या लिखा चुटिया लिखा Tens Rajesh is an Indian Valorant player playing for Sentinels and Electrical Sports organization located in Delhi, India. He is known for his offline performance, one-tapping bots, and his best map is the range. Okay. ये क्या चुटिया लोग आते हैं बेसाके Twitch. The fuck. हेटर्स बहुत है वे सेंटिनल्स का लाइक बटर्ड haters.
But at the same point in time, now we move to Ascent. This is their map pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Guard, we saw the kind of slow start out of them. Quite a few rounds where they had the advantage. It looked like they were going to be able to close out. Overswung a little bit, overfired. They had a few of those overheat moments. I think it calmed down over the course of the series. However, I think heading into Ascent, this is a lot more comfortable for them. Like you mentioned, Breeze the permaban, they do not like playing this map whatsoever. They still put up a good fight against Sen. And for Sen, we don't know what to expect from them on Ascent. Previously, it was a shaky map for them. As of late, obviously, we haven't gotten to see it with this new roster just yet.
Well, Ender, here comes the agent select. We'll see if things switch up a little bit here for both teams, honestly, because we kind of looked at the Guard coming into this and said, hey, agent comps were a little bit stale. We looked at Sentinels and we said we really want to see the Chamber come out for 10s, which we're seeing again here, but thoughts on the agent composition as it locks in?
Honestly, Sentinel's just going to run triple initiator on every map, it seems like, too. Ascent is a map that we've seen a lot more teams trying this one out ever since...
Which map is this? Ascent. Oh, Ascent pe maza aayega, guys. Ascent is like in my mind. Each and every angle is in my mind. Like I played so many times, so many fucking times. तो guys अभी मज़ा आएगा Ascent पे. Ascent पे हम लोग देखते हैं वो लोग का composition क्या है. Jonah P is on KO, Trent is on Fade, Valen is on Omen, Nat is on KJ and Saya is on Duelist Jet. वो लोग का Knife आएगा, ट्रेंड का रिवील आएगा, वेलिन का स्मोक्स आएगा, नेट का बैकस्टेप लगाएगा और साया का स्मोक पुश, अर्ली पुश या फिर लर्क. नेचुरल्स होता है कैसे अभी डुएलिस्ट लोग लर्क पे खेलते हैं होता है. देखते क्या कैसा खेलता है साया.
But maybe it's just a matter of comfortability. Our casters are standing by. We'll be diving into a
ready to go here for the second map now on Ascent. And okay, I had a conversation with MC beforehand when we had this game. I told him, can you tell me if the guys have been in the lab deeper to the agent move forward hard? There's some slow changes, but once again, it's those programs. Like the most is, can Ned actually still move that kill to despite a supporting element that oh my god, Celsius just cancel everything.
This camera angle, I thought that turret was on a wall I've never seen before. I was like, okay, we're already starting out with some new tech right now.
चलो guys वॉल्यूम वाही कर देते हैं. Let's go guys. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
That's the objective. But you're right, will Killjoy work? We'll have to keep an eye on the KO and Killjoy utility interaction. Unkillable 0 point goes towards mid here as Shazam gets some pop shots from the middle of Cat.
Also combo of utility as well on the attack to actually force Tens away with the rendezvous back onto Cat. So mid was forfeited for a bit. We haven't taken control of anything for the Guard yet. Still holding towards the link, trying to see if Tens going to re-push out while he has the TP on cooldown. But we're just going to try to play it slow, find that timing. Oh, there you go. Tens is back. Teleporter is back. Nothing's changed there for at least the Chamber into this patch. Here comes the first utility off the refreshments. The 0 point clear out towards Cat.
Another dodge out. So reposition again. They're reading the re-round of utility, as you were saying. Going towards door here. This could easily go back towards Cat. The push already in from Valen. And that may be the encroachment they need to get this positioning. And what a positioning move they have from Sentinels.
Break the door, force to rotate out. Tens gave up towards Garden, and now we're pushing it towards
Oh
the A side, but it's Dapper. 2 kills with the Ghost on the back of the Jenny, lining up a third one with the wall bang, and that's Tens on the other end just to hold it back off the rotation. Nets on his own.
Nice, nice.
And that's going to be a
nice teamwork.
From Sentinels.
A few of the cleanest Ghost shots we're going to be seeing here throughout the tournament. Dapper has always been an amazing sight holder in the 1v1s, the 2v1s. He thrives in these positions. Here, what is that second shot? Slowed down, it still seems fast, my man. Oh, and that one coming back through the Jenny gets a clip, and then the rest of it. I would be like, Tens, you took my fourth. That's basically what happened. But yeah, that is a statement round coming in from Dapper. You can't say much about it. Guard really tried to work the map just to get shut down coming through by Dapper.
That's the strength as well of playing that triple initiator for Sentinels, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's a quick push outside the A main. It's already spiked down off the grab well. That's going to be tough.
The read on the play, it's the push. Shroud is on the Astra too, so that's the quick click practice honed in on that, and they even get their own one-ways from Shroud here to make sure they can gain a little bit of position.
Sam's just holding with the L drone back from the Garden, and that's spots at least Sion player on that Marshall. So they pretty much have all that information up on A on block. Well, that spike is still down, so a tough battle for the Guard to take this. So we'll take the time to talk about it at least. The triple initiator comp, it has been
no, shouldn't have died, Shaz.
Stage 2, retweaked and revamped as well by Optic into Stage 2, and now Sentinels is using it. And one of those moments of where you saw that second kill coming out from Dapper was just a nice little lineup to get the kill off a recon guard that came out from Shazam as well into the A side. So there's just going to be a lot of utility that's going to bring out your opponents. And if everybody's so focused on trying to take you down on aim duels, then you're going to be able to ping so many players on his retakes for Sentinels.
I mean, if you think about how Valorant works in the way that it can be slow, if it's a slow game, information is king, right? And if you have more information to gain over and over, we see them recycling the utility. It becomes much harder to do anything in the dark, if you will, to have your opponents thrown off because they're already pushed up, they have extremity cover or utility cover in a certain area. Let's see what happens. This still the same setup coming from the Guard. I mean, tile coverage from KJ is a kind of a norm. Have a bit of alert. This is one of the first times Net will be by himself. We'll see how much they can provide over there before playing towards Cap and Gelato. Sentinels set up a 4-1 here to start with 4 towards B.
Okay, a little bit of a TP on the top of the boxes, looking for some aggressive mid control with 2 riflers on the top.
Alright.
Crosshair placement broken, and Valen punishes him for that by being on top of those boxes. One of those little tricks that you actually see here that we actually haven't seen too much from older players on this.
Jonah P with Diamond Buddy?
Nice start.
What? What the fuck?
Valen definitely finds a lot of comfort on open. Clutch situations, first bloods. No stranger to any of those of the sort. A real big reason they were one of the #1 teams there. Fragging IGLs are a rarity. See the push towards B though. It has been held by Nat. Seems like they want to get in. Nobody's really close to any alls. We're still so early in the game, but again, Guard try to play this time down, and Jonah finds 2. That's big news. They take it.
Tried to get something at least on the A side. The underhand throw actually did catch Zelsis off guard, but there was support from Shroud. But what that does is that they're on a bonus, so losing a little bit of a Spectre to allow the rest of them to get into the B site, we'll take that any day here for the Guard.
Absolutely. Easy in, easy plant. Let's see if they can get back out of the site here. It will help. Getting swarmed by all this utility will not be fun for Sentinels, and they'll know exactly how to use it. Doesn't look like they have much more than Net just on the crossfire. See how Sentinels get in.
Excuse me, lost a rifle in the process, not only a Spectre here, because it's a gun round now for the Guard, and Shazam's looking for that retake for Sentinels. The wall bang onto Saya player as Net is hiding inside the dark smoke actually, and that allows him to get through the nebula on a timing because the Prowler didn't spawn it, but as he comes out, Dapper was waiting for him. Then Trent stays on the boxes for 2 kills, looks for the 3rd, but we continue with these trades. It's a 1 versus 1. We talked about Velen on clutch, but it's not going to work out. Dapper gets the kill. And he's going to be able to get this defuse right here to make it 3-0 for Sentinels.
The dink as well. Not even a gun diff, just the placement of the crosshair. What a back and forth. And I said it come into the site, Vansili. Like, that's going to be so hard to hold. All that information ready to be gained by Sentinels. And we saw the first kill was through a wall. Trent doing Trent things at B. Almost a deja vu from him in this situation. But it comes up on Dapper's side, and they're able to get the defuse. Great round by Sentinels. They hold the bonus true, and they put Guard back on a low buy.
Now, this is some of the things that we see a lot from defender halves as well. The comps that you get, usually the Smoker and the KO playing towards the A side. Exit with BCG and Def do a great job, but they have an Omen instead of an Astra, but we're still using the Astra in full force here with how we're currently placing the stars into A main for Shroud. If it's going to be support with the Gravel on top of that too for Zelsis. But here comes the execute towards the A site, and that's Shroud holding towards the A main. This is off, of course, a couple of pistols coming in though from the Guard, just trying to at least get a plant down. That was also the Nightfall coming out from Dapper to get all of that information for Sentinel. So this is going to make things a little bit hard for the Guards to get some economy in from a plant.
Look at the Aljo shot in the face for a second. There's a few more frags coming in.
Okay, teabag.
Oh my word. Guard tried to just pull something out of their pocket there.
Teabag.
Absolutely rolled over. Sentinels with a pretty nice read. Like you said, Dapper on the ultimate to make sure that there isn't really anything to mess with. 7-0-8. He's actually been having a great series so far. Fragging out pretty hard and holding his own in situations. We recall the B round in Breeze where he held back, got 2 frags, which allowed the team to get Nightfall. He seems to be in that range where he's not ready to make a mistake today, and he's making the right decisions everywhere. It's really helping Sentinels out. Guard for the timeout, Vance. The rounds that slipped away from him are, but what if? Right? What if that didn't dink through the wall on Dapper? The bonus doesn't go. Another round doesn't fold over. So it's not like you get to say that and come back. You have to figure out what to do now because Sentinels isn't going to make it any easier. A few ultimates coming online here for the Guard. Trent probably could get a Nightfall out if they encroach on enough space and get in the face of Sentinels. But they're early timeouts twice now for Guard here.
Yeah.
One of them was after their round win, but it seems like they're having trouble getting through Sentinels.
Well, that's it. Getting trouble getting through Sentinels on A main on top of that. So I think where they had some strengths from the Guard was actually forcing Tents away from mid, forcing the TPs out, and getting that fake on mid to force Tents off the rotation off tree. But when they do that and still lose the fight towards A main, the position from Zelsis and from Shroud are very, very hard to deal with. So I feel like maybe a gelato late lurk or something like that could work things out. After actually this timeout, it's a paranoia to push through, and Side player dashes forward to be able to get that headshot onto Zelsis. So a great way to actually adapt back into this aggressive A side that Shroud and Zelsis have been doing towards that A main. So great timeout after all. But this is still going to be one of those stalemates where a little bit of utility was used to get control of that, but not much into map control gained.
Right.
If I can put it that way here for the Guard.
So we keep an eye now on the conversion. This 5v4, Saya player is able to get, and he stays alive this time. Because a lot of the time we saw that, Saya player breaks that distance and nobody can trade with him on the frag. Maybe this time, gosh curse, sorry. 4v4 coming up. They will be able to get a little more positioning. At least the knowledge is there, but here comes the initiator utility.
That was huge. Off the seas and the fragment and a push from Trent. Coming in hard for the Guard after this timeout, and that's going to be the plant on a 4 versus 1. With the economy looking pretty strong here for Sentinels, you could definitely go in to make it expensive here for the Guard, and you could count on Tents to maybe try to get 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So the attempt justifiable here.
Nice, they clean this up, helping out the 5v4 version statistic for them. And that was a great pressure too, especially in a round where Saya does get a frag. He is actually the next one to frag again, right? He was the one to push out as we get 10s on 1. He called it. Valen will stop that though in its tracks. But yeah, Saya still with what 30 HP was the first to peak. They
Nice
keep
try from
in
Tens.
order what they're supposed to do with this
But he
composition.
needed
They
more.
followed accordingly, and we saw Guard just pile in after Saya did finally go down. So really nicely done, keeping their strategy in line. Right, it's very easy to get deterred from it, but they're not letting Sentinels do that.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get to too, as you see the rotation coming out from the Guard is Sentinels playing it on the A side. If you lose control of one side, you can push forward in the rest. So pushing 2 players inside A main, you're leaving up tree, but the position that you gain from A main allows you to play the retake a little bit better. And I like how the Guard rotated back to Cat and used utility to actually deny the aggressive pushes from Sentinels after losing A main. So nice little chess match on that previous round. This round here, very, very slow. The Haunt not spotted them out as it was thrown out by Dapper to get control on mid and information. But this still allows Tens to push forward with this operator.
Game of one ways and stars being played over towards A still. We can see the change up of Net's positioning. Mentioning that from B towards mid. Turret's going to be able to grab a bit of info. Oh. Operator in the smoke. PP out. First.
Gun.
Ooh, the quick trade though.
The triple walk into a smoke. I love it. And the spray back through a cloud burst, but the Nightfall coming out on the attack. It does actually see Shazam with this Odin just trying to ADS down for only 1 kill. But these are looking really good, at least on both ends. Immediately, the null command gets dropped, so we have a 2 versus 1. Shroud looking for a fake res, looking back towards our front of the site. Going for the real one to swing out, and that's Trent with the kill. Very well done. Good patience by the Guard, and not going immediately for the plant, just trying to make sure that they get the kill. And that's 2 rounds now on the attack of the Guard.
Clean play. I think just be collected was one of the, probably not one of the things said, it's speculation, but just collect yourselves a little bit more by the Guard. Plays don't have to be made immediately. Make sure your teammates are there to crossfire. Obviously, Trent doing what he has to do in a situation. But it seems like they're just much more confident about their peak. Being down a player isn't stopping the Guard here. It's really good to see that the game hasn't shifted their mentality at all. The Sentinels have been pretty aggressive, have been trying to gain the space. Guards still want it first. And here we see that win finally, right?
Yeah.
They're like, no, A space is ours. We're taking this. Stop smoking it. They actually put 4 members there immediately. And now they control that orb. They'll back up and start to go back to what they were doing.
Still a stack of numbers, though, for Sentinels towards this A site, because we have this total false from Tens that's locking up the B main. Meanwhile, though, as we give that up for Sentinels into the A main site, you still have that crossfire there. So Guards are still going to try to play this very cautiously, waiting for potentially the other Haunt to come back up here for Trent. Well, they do have a knife ready to potentially try to stop this total false out towards B main.
Another smoke mid. Valen has 1 force sight. Decide to use it. Quick prowler towards 10. So get a call out and get a double lean over, actually. About 3 members of Sentinels at B. Orb grabbing left and right here.
Yeah,
Comes out.
and as the orb gets picked up, that's an immediate null command coming out from Jonah P to take the B site. So Dapper, first headshot there with the Sheriff. That stops him right there. Valen trades it out. We have a site open for the Guard. The res coming out too. So it's going to be back on a 5 versus 4. We talked about ultimate, so the op is still available for Tens. We still have a Cosmic Divide, but at this point, with all of them funneling out towards the spawn, it's going to have to be off utility and the Stinger, hopefully, to do much here for Zelsus.
He has to get by the one way. Lane is the only fight he can take actually coming down. It's unfortunate because it does create the longer range.
0-1 from Jonah P, spotted a few, so we know that we're committed to try to stop and contain the Guard into the site off this pulse plant. And that's the plan. We never really wanted to go for the defuse in the first place. We just want to make it pricey. It works out for all of these kills. Good for 3 overall. And that's Trent continuing to build up kills after kills that we wanted Trent to do as well. And that we know Trent for. And Trent has had those rounds where he's played a lot of Sova in the past. And I'm liking so far that we're fighting back and getting these numbers on a fade. Nightfall ready into this round. And also 1 round away of tying things up when they have the harder side of Ascent here with.
Right, it's not just the agent. I mean, you get the same stuff out of Fade that you kind of do out of Sova, but still seems comfortable just railing heads and taking rounds for the team. 4-3 here, a little closer to start off than we had on Breeze. Guard seem to be online right now. We'll see what they can produce for round 8. Sentinels getting a bit of a push into B main for the first time here. A little bit deeper, rather. They have had peeks and checks. This will be the extremity check that they usually aren't doing. Mid's been left open a lot of the time. One round, Guard was able to test out. They haven't decided if it's going to be another cat.
Tree control, Nightfall right away, and a nice little smoke too, just to try to take control of Tree for the Guard. But that is going to slow things down at the same time, because that was also a detriment to not allow the Guard to get through. Potentially maybe go for an underhand throw through that smoke, but there was a lot of utility that was thrown back from Sentinels.
Wow, look at what Sentinels feel comfortable playing. Shroud is not moving. He is ready to play a double spot there, crossfire into sight, but he goes down on a trade. And now they have to consider what they can do. No controller on that side.
That's a nice little double swing out.
Spawn.
Outside of the Cloudburst 2, Zelda down, Shazam off the rotation. This continues to be just nice for both of these teams. The pushing coming through, it's well read by Sentinels, but the trade comes out immediately. I just love this until this happens. Ten's pushing towards the B main, looking for the third kill, and he's going to get the headshot there onto Valen. Lock it down here for the Sentinels.
I can love Tens.
Oh,
Tens is में खेल लेता है.
Tens.
That's a cast of curse.
Absolutely cleaning up and realizing the situation. I mean, there's an arming time for the bot as well. Tens knowing well. I mean, Tens would fire through a flash there if it was on the screen before he would try to rendezvous away. So the alarm bot's not going to scare him. Yeah, really well played there. Just simple, kind of knew he could shoot. And a bit of a misplay by Guard. That will haunt them coming into that round because they had positioning and they had numbers. Quick 3K by Tens. Turns the game into Sen's favor here. Still a bit of a buy for Guard. And they have some money in their pocket, so not too bad.
Blade Storm 2 available for Saya player and trying to initiate for him for control. As after the time
Current map is Guard's pick, right?
Looking for this bit to be split. But once again, it's still Tens holding the other end with the Vandal in front of B main.
Throw now. The B main control has been a little bit more apparent here from Sentinel in the last few rounds. But in goes Saya player. Great chaos created by the Guard.
Yeah, a little bit of a bad placement off the rendezvous points, allowing Trent to get a second kill there onto Shazam. And
No,
there's the
that
first,
wasn't supposed to happen.
I think that I've seen this happen. Coming out here from Trent, and that allows here Elise for the Guard to play.
They're gonna save.
Already Sentinel's gonna fall
All
back
right.
into the A site to save.
Nicely done, and this is actually what the Guard needs. Even though they have money, a lot of Breeze was plagued with them being just shut down on economy. So if they can build this up, get the players in, that's much, much better. They don't have to be dropping people. So 5-3 here as we get into round 9. Middle of the map starting to get pressured a little bit. That was a pretty funky round from the Guard. The strategies they're coming out with here, a little bit different. I think it'd be credit to the assistant coach they added, keeper it after Masters. Comes in with kind of unconventional strats, you could say. And that might have been one of the ones that they rolled the dice on. Nicely done. Them pushing through spawn was really able to get the trades. Who does that? They do.
And I could maybe see maybe Ten's head that rendezvous point there because they had some sort of positioning that maybe market should have been covered by somebody else here from that switch to allow Tens to get the top position to look back towards B main. But again, when you're going to have to play a timing against side players' dashes, it's not going to be as easy to TP and flick right away for the kill. So understandable that that mistake kind of happened, but that's great for the Guard to narrow down that lead that Sentinels has built like they did on Breeze. But once again, we have a close game early. Hunter Security come out and that pings up to one.
That's clean.
Pings up a second one, but no kills. At least good information.
3 people are low.
That's a hell of a lot of damage right there. Already took basically a player out of the game. Still they stand as it's sorted across the members of the Guard. How much does it slow them down? Right? They're holding back pretty far. They're playing
80, 80, 240 damage. It's given by Shazam.
It's all up to Jonah P to get them in if they decide to go ahead. Prowler towards B main, and Sentinels have some great reads here. They've pushed B main the first few rounds. This time it's just a Prowler, and they are stacked towards Spike's side right now.
0 point spotted 2 on the attack. The Beast holding, only spotting 2 defenders. As good as 0 point on the attack, courtesy of Jonah P. But it's still going to be the Guard looking to push back towards the A main. It should be a Nebula or a Grapple. It's going to be a Nebula instead. Paranoid doesn't hit him, so Shroud has open season into the back of Hell, but unfortunately as Saya's dancing inside the Cloudburst, Shroud falls. Now though we answer back, Tens with the Guardian, the first headshot. Shot darts coming in, spike down now for the guard on the pulse plant. Two players playing towards Hell as Jonah P falls. Dapper goes for 180 and another 180 again on the Trent. Now the Nightfall just to secure the deal. The last position, as you see now, the Nanoswarm getting thrown, double of them coming down, but it's still a 3 versus 1. Very difficult for Net to come back across, and as he comes through, that's greeted by Tens with another Guardian, holding down the A main and also allowing Tens to get the duel of false in the next.
Deja Vu, Dapper, same spot, behind Jenny, a quick 3K, instantly smothering the guard, like you said, us that picked up there by Tens and the Guardian. It's so funny that he loves to pick that up, and he'll usually get a frag on each round too. It works. Yeah, it works.
I mean, you're a chamber. You could headshot with a headhunter, aim for the head with that gun. You can have a duel of false, one-shot kill. Why not go for a Guardian on top of that, which is basically a headhunter too if you're hitting letting the heads.
Just clicking once, why not? Why not? Yeah. There it is
Tens
again.
is a player that can do that.
6-4. Remember, we got a 7-5 first half on Breeze. These teams still testing each other greatly on Descent. That Paranoia is exactly what got Garden from that cat side last time through Tree. Here it's used quite early, and they aren't able to get too close of their own on the archway shot into A.
Yeah, but no kill still allows them for the orb, allowing the null command to come out here on the attack. Zelsis is dancing around, but it's still going to be the guard opening it up towards the A site. Dapper's going to have to try to go for a hero play, trying to spray through the smokes, but the door's just going to close instead. An early 5-on-3 with a plant going down for the guard. We still at least have Sentinels already and propped up here, 2 towards the Garden. Prowler clearing out towards Cat, so they can gamble now to just push in from the door, not having to look back towards their backs. They go for the double swing if they want to. But Jonah P's around the corner. Leg now spotted as he gets the headshot onto Trent. Dapper answers back onto Jonah P, but it's still a player advantage going out for the guard on the post plant. And with that all looking back towards that B main, more lineups being thrown here by Net. Delaying that clock, turret now up. Things are looking good at least. Oh, maybe not for that one though. Shrouded step, punished by Tens, and Saya player lines up the last 2 kills. And that is the guard, making it 1 round away of tying things up on the first half.
Trent is popping off, yeah. Trent.
Doing a really great job.
Who is this Trent, guys?
Sites. Using that utility to at least get a few.
Last round so अभी भी खेला था last match पे.
Helping them at least, or they've stopped smoking as much.
इस बार
I think we've
fade पे खेल रहा है.
Activating too fast, or just between one crowds and able to get into those. But they've been able to really encroach past what would be gravity wells, get themselves in. You see the pings again of which way they may want to go, or what they might be facing if they do want to get to the site. Early defensive 0 point smokes. Stars on this A spot just to hold down the alt board.
No, how could you miss?
Net was trying to look for that push, fights back for that one, but of course there's a Nightfall on the attack. Nice paranoia from Valen, but it's still a 1-for-1 on both extremities of that map. But now you hear that null command coming out from the defense, and that is going to be Zelsis just trying to slow things down for a bit. Now Dapper's already on the top. Zelsis looking to push forward. Battle coming in towards Hell. You hear the footsteps from Dapper. Dapper gets picked off by Trent. Zelsis looking for the overhand flash with a double swing after, but there goes Trent pushing forward, and that's a great kill coming out and a great hold from the guard. And just like that, we have a repetition of Breeze where we have another game in our hands. Let's take a break and see the continuation after that. Over 500,000 viewers are currently watching this game. Hello, Valorant fans, and hopefully you're enjoying this matchup between Sentinels and the Guard, because I, of course, am. We thought
सब
at
enjoy
least
कर रहा
at
होगा
the
भाई.
beginning of both of these maps that it was just
500k
Sentinels
plus
running away with
viewers
triple initiator comms,
on
but
Twitch
Guard
only.
continue to find a way
YouTube
to fight
excluded.
back
YouTube पे क्या
after
होगा सोच लो.
timeouts and great reads coming up from MCE, allowing now the second half just to start on a fresh slate. But it starts aggressive. We have Celsius getting the first blood on the Saya players. They're trying to go for the shark attack into the B-Link.
Super quick start. Holy moly. Quick backup by the Guard. Say, okay, we need to regroup. Sentinels enjoying what they got right there. No need to push. And this is what they do all the time. We saw this on Breeze. They keep back, slow. Saya player to have as your first one is so big. Set up a 2.
No. It's Trent, guys. Trent को down करने पे team down होगा. Not Saya player.
A little bit more. Expect a lot of this round to go away. And
Trent is the key.
This little excursion. Try and pull out a little bit more util. They want to see.
जब एक टीम का एक टॉप फ्रैगर डाउन होता है ना, टीम का मोरल ऐसे डाउन होता है.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a fake so far. Zels is almost in the B.
Exactly. 0-point recon dart, but there's still going to be that killjoy utility towards A main. So that's good delay being set up by Net and allowing this rotation to come back. And Sentinel seems like they just want to focus on taking this A site. But it's a double push up on Catwalk, so Net has a lot into his hands right now, hiding inside that Nebula. And as it dissipates, Elise gets the first kill until he's traded off by Celsius for another kill coming in for Sentinels. In the backup, Jenny, Trent fights back with that frenzy. Long range somehow onto Tents, and this is looking again.
I told you guys, Trent is the key. बस Trent को डाउन करना है. ये साया वैसे नहीं होगा. साया तो बेकार है. फिलहाल इस मैप के लिए.
On their pistols, they're able to keep trading this. Dapper last
Trent
time
is the
says
key.
it's ours. So from both maps, one pistol each for these teams. Seem to trade pretty evenly when it comes to that. Now we'll get Marshall's on the next round. Just going to keep it long range and safe here. Nice clean up with the frenzy. And they actually had a good lean on this, right? They had a bit of a play towards B. They knew what was happening was basically a fake. They didn't bite on Zelsis showing footsteps or walking towards B, so the Guard had really good comms on that to make sure they were clean. 3 towards A to start this one off as they switch where Net's playing here for round 2. He's at B with all of his utility.
It's going to be one of those rounds where it can get very hectic too, because you're looking at a lot of firepower in Sentinel's lineup versus a bunch of Spectres in close range battles being set up by the Guard. You see that they're edging and closing in on a defense just to try to close up on mid. You spot a little bit of retaliation coming out from the Sentinels. Pizza. Stay quiet here, Riv, where we're really just trying to punish the Guard on mistakes off rotations. Tens is already posted up, ADSing down towards the Headhunter to walk towards one.
See him. He's hungry. He's not jet play anymore. He's got to wait for people to come to him usually. He gets antsy in these situations, but he usually makes the shot. We'll see. Yes. 0 point over towards Kitchen, or Kitchen Market rather, as they get themselves to safety. A lot in the back of the site here. This is up to Trent. That's just on the other side. And it looks like Sentinels want it, but it's so slow down this lane side. Side player is going to start off on 10 like that.
Good for the rest of the Guard. Crossfire towards that back of the B side, and there you go. I mean, at that point, you were hoping that Tents could actually get a pick towards this mid, because you can have really late rotation back towards the A site. After that TP, trying to work up towards screen. And as, of course, as you saw, Red, when he lost that fight, it was just, okay, let's full commit towards the B side to get a plant down. So, great way for the Guard to actually go into a bonus round where they still have some really good SMGs and figure out what they can do with this. Saya player is still deciding if he wants to go with the Marshall or not in this mid-hold. He's going to Ben. Goes back to Marshall.
Easy Marshall. He's actually had quite a few shots on Breeze on it, so he's feeling comfortable. Keep the money down, maybe get an operator as soon as possible. We saw double operator being a defense on Breeze. We'll see double, but you may see him trying to pull one of these out and play mid in later rounds, as we see with the Marshall here. Rotator lean coming in from Jonah P. It looks like they'll keep him on well watch. He's just jumping in the back of spawn right now. And Sentinels continue now to keep this composition spread. Much different than the triple initiator we saw them play on Breeze. Smoldies has now one of the initiators on where this time it's going to be Shazam and Saya player is tempting fate here. Just to give an idea for Trent to get a frag.
That was so close because you saw that dark cover come out too to try to save Trent so he can fall back into the B main. But at least we're still trying to delay with the smokes being thrown out on the defense, so they only lose one player in the process. Updraft coming out from Saya player, trying to get a Marshall kill, but that doesn't get any kills yet. Both make that all of Sentinels rotating back and looking to rotate towards the A site where once again, we're seeing why this Killjoy is still very useful for this composition of the guard.
It is big.
It's a full lockdown for net.
30 seconds
That
left.
utility, still some insight. They have to get by being detected. This gives the rotation time. That's the important part. No fight is what Net wants right now. He's waiting for the team. They're waiting for the retake.
Delay as they're moving into the site with 14 seconds left on the clock. The plant only starts now, so this gives the opportunity for that retake to happen. Potentially a double flank, but Valen decides otherwise. Moving with the rest of the team on the top of heaven, and a late alert from Net back towards to cover mid, and then they're going to try to retake and re-hit together. Nice, a little 0 point coming out at least from Jonah P. That's going to ping a couple of players down towards L. A smoke towards the front. The Paranoia misses though, and that's going to be a great position at least for the Sentinels at Hell to get all of these kills. But Jonah P answers back for 3 kills. The backstab from Zelsis after all. Finally, a Sentinel stops that bleeding on that retake from the card, but that is
Backstab from Zelsis किधर था bro?
for the guard.
Sentinel's doing a good job of staying alive. It did get a little messy towards the end. Guard doing themselves a good job of getting that money they need. There's the operator we were talking about, now in the hands of Saya player. That's what the Marshall buy was for. You see that utility towards the back top side. 0 points had already been used at this point, so there's a bit of an idea of what space was being played, which is why I think it made it so easy for Sentinels to be able to get in and find the shots they needed without second guessing what was going to be aiming at them. Peek here? No. Quick smoke onto Cat. They deny any peeks there and maybe get a bit of mid control after, and that's going to be Shazam at the top of mid, making sure they have a call on what's happening. KJ Utility switch back over to be here for the guard fans. They continue to keep Sentinels guessing, and I think Sentinels is doing a pretty good job at getting close enough, figuring out if they might be dealing with Net's utility, and then figuring out what would be the easiest course of action.
Yeah, get those auto EQs coming up. If you hear a flash coming out towards the A side, and you know that there's a dark cover for a one-way on the A side, then there's strong chances that you flip-flop the rotations and positioning here of that Killjoy. And now going back into a one-way towards A main, Valen's watching it from heaven. And a knife doesn't get information on Cap, but at least it gives information for the guard where potentially they can focus a lot of crossfires into the A main. That's actually looking at Jonah P and Valen into that A main site.
With a one-way smoke here. Wait, Shroud's in? That's the rest of the team has to follow.
Saya player lands it onto Zelsis, and Jonah P gets the wall bang onto Shazam, and this is a stronghold for the guard. And you mentioned it, Shroud made it through, so he's able to answer back onto Saya player, but it's basically a 4 versus 2, as he gets pinged out by a Haunt, and that's a beautiful wall bang by Trent. That's some great stuff that we like to see. Tens by himself, first headshot, connects onto Net. We're looking for that double swing, but there's basically no time. This is a round coming in for the guard, and somehow he gets a kill point blind on the Trent, but it's still the round for the guard.
It seemed like a bit of miscom there, just on the entry, right? As soon as they went to hit, Sentinels was actually hit with a bit of utility they weren't expecting, so as Shroud was able to make it, everybody else wasn't. It was kind of like a jet going forward and the team can't close deal. After that, your smoker's in sight who really wants to provide cover for the rest of the team and doesn't have angles covered. So guard taking big advantage of that.
लोग फिर से शुरू हो गया.
In position there, not
कोई नहीं.
They again switch the Killjoy play.
फिर से आएगा.
Sentinels guessing. The Sheriff play for Sentinels. This may be fast towards B. Looks like they'll keep it slow for some long range shots. A 3-2 defense play here by the guard. Looks like Valen just continues to set up one ways at least towards A. They keep doing that precedent. Even if there were a Sentinels player there.
Aries now for Trent, or Slinky likes to call it a res, I think. I'm not too sure.
The res.
Yeah, what's the conversation, Slinky, around that?
Yeah.
That said, though, this is an eco coming out for Sentinels, just trying to see and try to get information at least for the defense, but I just wanted to get back to that before. That ping that we saw from the Haunt out from Trent to get that wall bang kill onto Shroud before is one of the things that I like to see, because Trent was also kind of known to do these Aldril wall bangs too, so I like to do this on a different agent as well. Being the Fae, getting as much value onto this agent as he would on a Sova.
Great damage on a Dapper there. See a little crossfire between the operator and that. Real hard to be able to get past that defense. Tour de force now, Peking Cat looking for his shin, looking for anything. Not gonna get it. Maybe some toes. These one-ways are a great job of slowing down Sentinels, but I'm not sure that's what stops them. Being slow on Breeze was how Sentinels gained a lot of their rounds. Guard doing what they can to create the one-ways, but it seems like Sentinels will wait it out and still get to push through. Shroudy first again.
Underhand throw being thrown out here, but that blinds up both players onto the guard. And made it through, but there's only 6 seconds. Spike is out down. And that's not going to help too much. Once again, another one of those situations where Tens is going to be by himself with no time left on the clock. And despite Net not being able to get any of these nanoswarms popped off on Tree, it's still good enough here for the guard to get ready for the push themselves.
Oh yeah, being able to basically have things in order, fail safes. The guard seems to have been setting up where Net is really, really well with that. And while it was a question, right? How much does KJ shut down, or sorry, KO shut down Killjoy now? It's like, how much does Killjoy really alter the map unless they're popping off? So I don't think we've seen much between that battle, if there was any to be had. Guard happy, pumped, fist bumps around, 10-7 here as they look to bring us to Icebox, our final map on this best of 3 series to start off the NALCQ. And we'll see how this one goes. Sentinels called a timeout. They've been able to break kind of the surface defense of what Guard is setting up. They again haven't been working too much mid, just like Breeze. They're working left, they're working right on the extremities, but again, this time they have a bit of a flank. They're usually working 2 players off, whether it be Dapper and Zelsis or Dapper 10, something like that. And it seems like they're trying to get more and more info out of Guard, but they're not allowing that game to happen anymore. They were read so quickly, and it seemed like downloaded early on Breeze before they adapted to that Sentinel strategy. Here, they're being very close to the chest with how they're defending, where they're defending, and Sentinels aren't having as easy as a time getting into sites.
Not a storyline, at least now for the guard, is that they're actually able to get a lot of value out of these 5 versus 4s, getting the first blood and converting them into wins. It was quite low going into stage 2, and now currently looking to be at top of like the 70s, 80s%. And it's all off just, again, the utility that they have on the defense for the guard. If it's not going to be on the Killjoy utility, it's still that KO smoke combo that works out quite well. And finally, as we get a first blood now in favor of Sentinels, that's a player falling on mid.
अच्छा ये क्या बोलते उसको?
Opens up a lot of that map opportunity to control.
Commentator क्या कर रहे हैं?
Great little adaptation there by Sentinels. They were able to identify that it was Saya player that was out and in the open alone, but now this B is coming in, so forget about that.
The Nightfall also to ping out Valen inside that site. Cosmic Divide on the attack, but you don't need to be death if you see them right in front of you. That's 3 kills for Valen right now. A 2 versus 2. Valen looking for the 4th. Connects onto that one as well. And Shroud on a 2 versus 1. Let's see what you got here, Shroudy. Nothing at all. As Net seals the ace, but you want that round if you're the guard.
Yeah, Net in that last kill. Really well played in the beginning by Sentinels. The guard wins the round, but identifying Saya player was kind of out and scattered, so a lot of crossfires set up in mid. Obviously somebody's going to help him, and that was a first kill for Sentinels. Saving grace. Valen in sight. Holy crap, 4K coming up real quick. Able to completely shut down the 5v4 conversion that Sentinels was looking for, and that's exactly the round that Guard wants to put up, having this type of lead on Sentinels. Puts him back down in the econ, Stinger by on Sheriff by. Sentinels are going to have a hard time finding frags here as, again, the Guard are playing back in the sights. Tough to get to. Saya play all the way down there with an operator to start.
Hey, extremities, don't worry, let's try mid. Nope, Saya's there with the knock. So that's an early 5 versus 4, but a eco for Sentinels trying to get inside the B side for a plant. Trent holding the back of B with an Odin. Saya trying to go for some blind picks through the smoke. But it's still going to be just a great hold with 2 players in the back on top of that. And now as we're forcing from the lockdown players to push towards the spawn, it's greeted by Shorty, it's greeted by Molly, and now the guard are 1 kill away of looking to lock down Ascent of forces to a 3rd map. But it's the off shot that gets the miss, but still Trent comes in with the Odin. We might see this third map in this series, and I wouldn't want it any other way, Riv.
Let's go, guys. There's still hope.
Everybody's stepping up.
5 rounds in a row.
Saya
I'm gonna get to OT.
big frag. We saw some from Jonah P there.
That is
Both of
all
them,
we need.
Saya and Jonah, account for 50% of the first duels coming into LCQ for the guard. So you'll always see them popping off, and they keep true to that.
This time they need to push A.
Frag on that last round.
But now they are
to
pushing
help them
B.
bring the match point.
So it's gonna be tough somehow.
Plays all around. Valen stepping up too here. Star power showing
sleepy
through the
B.
second
What the
map
fuck?
for the guard, and the reason they held the top spot in NA. A glimmer of that being shown to us right now. Looks like we're gonna get a quick pause on this.
I'm okay for that pause. We need a breather. We need a breather to also explain or try to show and demonstrate, as finally on the scoreboard, Steven Trent's at 25 and 11 on this map so far, and I know he's put up some great numbers on the first map as well, being at 28 and 18 in that double overtime. So I just want to tie this in onto that 4K that Valen had before here, Riv, because that's one of those moments where after that 4K, you saw from the players' reaction that they just stood up and started screaming, feeling that heat, feeling the vibes, and it's the good old guard that we had from stage 1 that we didn't see too much during stage 2, and I'm loving this resurgence of the guard, especially against the Sentinels matchup, where the last time that these two played against each other, this was like a 13-1 on that second map in the series for the guard, and they just basically thrashed the Sentinels in that series.
Exactly. It's kind of that nothing can break this vibe feeling you see in them every time you get the cans, every time they're making plays, even if they're down in members, you're like, well, they could still do it. That is coming back a little bit, because it was a gusto that was very much lost for them, and kind of Sentinels too, right? The guard we saw playing continuous compositions. They still had a few that they played since March, which would easily be downloaded by other teams. While those compositions might work, you can't really make them work if a team knows exactly how you're going to use it. So guard will call a timeout after this, using their time efficiently to make sure they can solidify this last round. Probably holding a few alts unless they know they'll necessarily secure it, so they can have a fail-safe for the rounds to come. But looking to close it out here. That operator, again, has been such a pivotal point for the guard to convert rounds, whether it be on Breeze in our first map or here on Ascent. That's been something that we see the guard going very frequently.
Trent is looking suspicious.
Right back into it.
Couple of ults, as you mentioned before here, Null Command and Nightfall available for the retakes. If they want to try to figure out how they want to cycle through this utility and the ultimates for the guard. Saya player with an operator also has Blade Storm, but it's going to be Sentinels taking the first step, pushing aggressively towards Tree. That forces out the Null Command from Jonah B, who does get a nice kill onto 10, who is fully blinded towards Tree. A swing out from Wine that doesn't amass for a kill, so we're trying to fight back. We're clawing back here for Sentinels. They're at a player disadvantage, but all split up across the map. But here comes the Hunter's Fury on the attack, allowing this push forward from Dapper, but it's not even needed. Shazam gets a double kill with the Hunter's Fury. A player advantage going back into the Sentinels, but Dapper lurks in to make it a 3 versus 1. Now Saya player with this operator and the Blade Storm available if he wants to. Just trying to see if he can catch one off guard as the plant only comes in now.
It's tough.
I mean, he has that flank being watched. Don't really have to peek that much, and just because of like 5 simple seconds that went down off that spike, you now see Saya player opting to save his life.
I was going to be pretty amazed if he actually tried to go for that. He was walking forward with confidence. Only W keys to be pressed, but he did find the S key. Turns himself around, and he heads back towards B. Saving the operator. Blade Storm is there as well, so if he gets himself into a tight situation, he can make this work. I don't know. They're not going to go hunting. So Sentinels pick up a pretty clean round. You can see most of the action there coming through Tree. It has been how Sentinels have wanted to fight these situations, making sure they either get the smoke or a full fight with somebody in Tree. The one-way smokes have not been something they want to deal with at the A main area unless it's just kind of for the post-plant retake. But again, here you see the push through right up the gut with Hunter's Fury, and it makes it so hard to defend this position. And Shazam knows that, especially this late in the round with how Sentinels, again, try to read the rotations. Timing was there.
Yeah, and even Dapper eating one pulse off his teammate's Hunter's Fury to break the timing off the rotation back from trying for that Odin. So this is some very nice scaling from Sentinels going into understanding where the position was with regard in that mid round. this round, though, as we had that timeout previously from the guard. We couldn't close it out, but thankfully we still have a lot of utility and economy, rather, and a Nightfall still available. Fire player trying to go through the smoke, dashes away, couldn't get the kill, and pulls out a Blade Storm. But mid-control, under slight control, as Trent plays the off angle. First kill on the Celsius. Updraft coming out in 10, swings out with the Vandal run and gun to make it a 4-on versus 4.
Smoke there, just denying the angle those two wanted to use to actually have a crossfire. Ten's approaching it perfectly to get his frag. Now in the 4v4, it looks like they will start to pressure a bit towards that left side, and this is one of the only times we've seen Sentinels try to work towards mid. Taking down Trent's going to be a huge one because he has been so pivotal in being able to shut down these site takes. B is going to be the idea as Shroud prepares the stars.
That's no Nightfall for the retake too, so you're hoping that those daggers are going to refresh from side player with him landing as many shots of the Blade Storm as he can, because he's going to be by himself in his sight. The Paranoia is already wasted by Valen in the back. First op shot connects, but it gets traded out instantly by Shroud. And that's a plant coming down now for Sentinels, and we're still far away from the rotate for the guard.
Going to be a pretty far rotate from Jonah P. Looks like they'll hold on the exits here, at least for now. Jonah P's movement super slow towards towers. That's the only way I would think that. But no, they're going to be entering the site. Valen at least wants these frags. Jonah's going to have to move a little bit faster if they really want to use all the utility correctly.
You're happy that Tense is still alive, because that forced Jonah P to break that trademark. He has to give his position away. It's a 2 versus 1. Both players from Sentinels holding in the back of the site. A switch of weapons and also a switch in terms of decisions, not trying to go for that 2 versus 1. And we're saving our gun into the next. We're going to try to fight again. But as I talk about ultimates that are still available, let's keep an eye out on that Nightfall from Trent.
See if he can use it. Nice job by Sentinels there, encroaching, getting onto the site, but making sure that they're doing it without really having to take fights, right? And if they do, there's multiple members to answer onto that fight. We saw as soon as Sayatit player took a shot, he was shot. That's why he was tagged and couldn't get out of that situation, right? He'd already dashed backwards from what we saw in mid, so it actually is incredible that they were able to find him again in one of their first engages to be able to take that operator out. Sentinels are doing a really good job of filling out the map. They're going to probably meet a little bit of defense here coming out of B main. Guard for the first time is trying to get a hold of their own extremities, and different one-ways being thrown now towards A. It's like the Prowler just gets shot out here, and Trent is aware that it's going to be after the other side. Ultimate.
Broken early. This is a fake right now for Zelsis. He's just unloading right now as we're moving back up towards screen. Haunt now spotting net towards that mid on that garden. And Zelsis, as he runs away, still gets a kill onto Jonah P. It's a great start now for Sentinels to get back into the A site. As they tried to cross over before, they're always stopped by this garden. So we're able to get into the site this time for Sentinels, and it might be another one of those situations where we might have to save here. Sire player breaking at least the trademark out towards B main, but look at that, just going back towards spawn.
Vancilli.
I mean, you have a 5-round cushion rift.
I honestly start to get flashbacks of how Sentinels were able to basically start to control the game when on their game point to their opponents. How they started to change their play style. That it looked like, why didn't they bring this out before? And again, they have this method where they're basically getting in, and one player of the guard is down, and the guard is saving. Right? It's literally surgical for these last few rounds where the guard can't use the operator, can't use a few ultimates. You said Trent, let's watch that Nightfall. Can't get that usage in still because of how Sentinels is playing, guarding themselves, and prepping the defense as they're moving forward too. The 5v4 goes stale on that one, but goes in favor of Sentinels, bring it within 2. Game point still for the guards. They're right there to tip this one over and get us into Icebox.
This is getting very, very interesting, definitely, in this matchup. And this is not, as you mentioned here, Riv, one of the first times that we see Sentinels being able to play comeback games. As you were talking about, hey, the good old Sentinels is like, oh yeah, this brings me flashbacks of Sentinels versus 100 Thieves, and probably flashbacks from Hiko when you had Tens get that 3K onto Haven. I know you're watching here, Hiko, and sorry to bring that back to you. But now Sentinels are 2 rounds away to force another overtime into this game. Economy's still good for the guard, but it's quick for Sentinels inside the B site. Dapper somehow flicks into the kill onto Trent. Back of the site now is going to be Net. Being hit by concussed from that Nova Pulse. Net is trying to stay alive in the back. Nice flash coming out because Celsius was low blinded from that. The swing out from Tens, and Net was still ready off that kill. And that's off that guard cover coming out, and Net is just holding down towards the back of the site. I can't believe this is happening. What a hold right now from Net and the rest of the guard in the back of the B site. And we are going to a third map.
I'm so ready for this third map. I feel like Icebox is the one that kind of could really sort out how these teams have played, what they've been working on. I feel like the last 2 maps of Breeze, straightforward, a little bit more of a shooting range. Ascent will put you close and figure out how well you can work in anchoring each other. But Icebox, about those rotations, and really about the site takes and retakes. I cannot wait to see what these 2 teams have for each other as we go into a third map.
Same thing for Sentinels. I mean, when Ender was talking about it on the analyst desk, where there was some struggles, hit or miss for Ascent or that very team, I felt that we had some similar storylines for Sentinels on this map as well. But now this is a brand new page. We want to know what they're going to pull out here on Icebox, and what does the guard have ready for us for Icebox as well. And we'll find that out after the break.
Let me down here.
He just keeps clicking it away, and somehow it just works.
V2, 10s, free position.
Oh, 1v1, and he spams that! The Red Bull clutch! And we are back from the break, as it's going to be a 3-map series after all. The guard fight back in map 2, but it is another close one, Mimi, as the guard takes the series, or the series to map 3. It's a 13-10 victory over Sentinels. We had overtime map 1. It's still not easy, but it's coming together for the guard.
Yeah, I mean, that series started off, or excuse me, that map started off pretty rough for the guard, I would say. They were making quite a few mistakes on their attacking side, just letting a few rounds slip away. And then in the second part of that first half, they really rallied back and found a lot of value. While their post sprints were, a little tumultuous at times, the Sentinels was still struggling to find value on that retake despite the triple initiator comp. They claimed 6 rounds on attack and just set themselves up for such a successful second half to be able to close that out.
Yeah, I mean, B-site was a disaster for Sentinels. One player down on site after Sentinels were successful taking the site, just getting 4 kills, right? First it was Fallon from behind Dice, then it was Net all the way back in backside. Sentinels just sort of funneling out one by one. That being said, Sentinels started on the defense looking much better up until they had to switch to attack. And while it started out with Sentinels looking for like slow creeping plays, whether it was posting 10s up in mid or like lurking up through a cat and trying to get a flank over by ramp, like those didn't end up working out super well for Sentinels. It wasn't until Sentinels started trying to like funnel in 5 players through main that they found some success. But again, guards, anchors.
I mean, the slow pace just kept getting slower, despite having this triple initiator composition and showing some solid utilities on the execute. It was very rare you were actually seeing a solid follow-up out of the rest of Sentinels. They don't have that dedicated dive player, and for TenZ, it was so often that he was playing these rounds really slow, out on alert, and wasn't finding value in the late round when those side executes were actually coming through, which, like you said, Chrissy, just meant the anchors for the guard were getting so much impact round after round.
And to Dapper's credit, like he was the guy that was just charging in full steam ahead for Sentinels, and there were quite a few rounds where he was successful on an individual level, and maybe sometimes it wasn't quite the trade coming in or whatnot. On the other side of things, though, I was a little bit disappointed on the entry play from the guard on their attack. Yes, they squeezed out 6 rounds, and Trent had a huge impact on how they were able to do that, but Saya player on the Jet, still locking in the Jet on Ascent, you pick that primarily for the reason of the smoke dash into sight, whether that's to get on top of the generator A or over on the B side as well, but he wasn't quick spinning to clear those close left and right corners, right? He's a human Sova drone, but 2 different times that I could count, he was not checking that close angle, and the person directly behind him, usually Valen, ended up getting cut down, and that was a big problem for the guard that I hope they can remedy moving forward.
And on top of that, there was still some weird moments in the post plant. We saw some lineups that weren't really connecting. We saw the door being closed on a player that was back towards catwalk multiple times. But despite some of the issues, the guy that was stepping up was Trent in such a big way across this match.
It did kind of feel like a fight of the fades.
आज फिर वॉच पार्टी इधर ही खत्म करते हैं गाइस. आज के लिए बहुत हो गया वॉच पार्टी.
For the guard, just seeing how he's been honestly hitting his form from stage 1, because we expected that in stage 2. Stage 2, Trent really fell off. He took the L.
कल फिर मिलते हैं गाइस. आज के लिए जो लोग आए थे सपोर्ट के लिए थैंक्स अ लॉट एंड मीन्स अ लॉट. कल फिर मिलते हैं गाइस. आज के लिए यही. बाय बाय. सी यू गाइस टुमारो.